What's going on, everyone? What's
Yeah,
good?
yo,
Huh?
what's
Huh?
good?
What's
Yo,
good, everyone? TC?
what's good, everybody? Hope y'all good.
What's going on? It's February. Well, if you believe in Black History Month, happy Black History Month.
Yeah,
If you don't, hey, but listen, y'all. So this episode is about how to be a leader.
yes.
In this episode, um, we have a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
We have a person that owns buildings, a person that is a consultant. Yo, I'm telling you, it's about to get real on this podcast because this guy is bold.
You
When I
about to
say he's
oh.
bold,
Mm-hmm.
he's bold, okay?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gives he gives no how they say it in a nice way. Like he
Mm.
gives no
No.
F's.
Yeah, but you thank you. I put the rated R version. Yeah, no
That's
F.
it.
Mm-hmm.
He gives no F's. You hear me?
No F. Yeah, like he is on his game and he is rolling. You
Facts.
better hop on that
Facts.
train and join his train.
That's what I'm talking about. And the thing about it is that the reason why he's a leader, because one, he makes bold decisions, and another thing is that like he does things for the community. A business owner. He has his own business. He has property. Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
He even owned property by mistake, but you have to find out.
Come on. But we about to, let's get it started. But first, you already know it is introduction time. So listen, y'all. Um, yeah, it's learning. It's learning. Introduction. We always, give. We drop gems on the health and the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, we always talk about ingredients and everything, right? Food, health,
Mm-hmm.
um, and food, of course, what we're learning, and if you have learned in the introduction each episode, you realize that it not only affects your taste, but affects your mind, it affects your body, your behavior, and also affects your stomach waistline, you know?
You know, the best way I could put it, food is the gasoline to your car. This is
Facts.
your body. Yep.
Facts. So
Mm-hmm.
you know how you drive in your car, and when you drive your car needs gas.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to fuel that car, and some people they put the premium to get that that good gas or whatever
Mm-hmm.
you want to call it. Um, Instead of like if you put the wrong gas, not I'm
Diesel.
not gonna say wrong gas, but I'm gonna say if you put that diesel
The
in
hot.
your car, you feel what I'm saying? If you put
Yeah,
that diesel in your car, next your car gonna be like, hold up, what's this? Yo,
exactly.
what's that? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's how it works in your body.
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying? So this is what I mean. It affects how you behave when you. It's like when you go to bed. Do you realize how sometimes how you stay up at night when you eat?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all. It's like the foods we eat. That's why it's important to have a balanced diet. If
Yes.
you continue constantly every day to eat fatty foods, it compromises your health. It compromises your brain health,
You become that fatty food. In short.
pretty much. So there's so if so, but listen, but for fatty foods, there are such thing as good fat, and there's such thing as bad fat.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so let's really think about it, how it really affects us. And I'm gonna set an example how food affects our mind. If I eat a and our mind, our body, and everything, right? if I, you know, when we go to the deli, we be like, yo, let me get that bacon, egg, and cheese,
You get that
salt
chopped
and
cheese,
pepper, right?
chopped cheese like cocoa bread real quick, the tomato and salad real
Right?
quick. Yeah.
But let me get that bacon, egg, and cheese. And next
Hmm.
thing you know, to drink with it, we get that Arizona. Now that's the hood breakfast.
Oh yeah, on the
But
bottom.
then, right? But then you realize that's the unhealthy breakfast. And I guess we realize that's why is that the hood breakfast?
Hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? And it's like when you eat that bacon, egg, and cheese, you realize that you start to feel calm and you start to feel tired after that. I experienced this when I was eating that bacon, egg, and cheese in the Arizona. When it sits in your body, it starts to like, how can I say it? When it sits in your body, you start to be like, I'm
Oh,
tired,
you get the itis.
pretty
You get that
much.
little, you start moving like a little snug bug.
You be like, yeah, I'm tired. Oh,
Yep.
I got the itis. This is
So,
the way how I feel.
yep.
And that's the way. Even if you feel full, you get too much food, you start to be like, oh, I'm full. Now all of a sudden you calm and everything, which is
Mhm.
just nothing wrong what I'm saying about being full or none of that.
There's a
Just,
different type before though.
pretty much. But let's talk about like the micronutritions. The
Okay.
micronutritions, it gets you energized and it gets you light. Like when I eat micronutritions, and that's all I'm eating, I start to feel very light, energized, and I start to you start to jump around like, yeah, I feel light, everything, you
Hmm.
know. So the types of, like, which we have to understand is the fats, amino acids, glucose, micronutrients, the protein. Like I remember, like you could remember learning this stuff in school. The
Yeah.
omega 3 and 6, the fatty acids,
Hmm.
like whatever how our brain and body feels must comes in from our diet.
Yes.
Omega does have good fats, but once again, when we eat that trans fat, that saturated fat,
Mm.
yo,
Mm.
that's the fat that can affect if we continue every day to eat this stuff without any, micronutrients, or without any, greens or fruits or anything, it starts to affect our health. It starts to
Yep.
affect our brain
Hmm.
if you eat it constantly. I'm, you feel what I'm saying?
Let me even add.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead, TC.
I just want to add one thing too. People forget about also. A lot of people love fish. But guess what fish be carrying? That mercury. And
Pretty much.
mercury in the short term is somewhat, it's like a metal substance and it's kind of like poisonous to us.
Pretty
So,
much.
you
Yeah,
can't eat in that fish, and different fishes have different type of mercury. So that's something to look out for also.
definitely something to look out for. Food sends us messages to our body.
Yep.
Sometimes we do ignore it because majority of the time we just worry about the taste.
Yep.
We don't worry about the consciousness, what it does to our body, or how it affects our brain.
You know what we do? We treat food like it's a sitcom, like we watch a TV show.
That's yo.
This TV show
Tell them,
gotta be
TC.
funny. This TV show gotta be funny. I better laugh. We look at that food like that. This food better be sweet.
Tell
I
them,
swear,
TC.
I swear, if it's better, I'm about to have a fit. Your body looking at you like, bro, but we need a lemon though. Like, what are you talking about? We don't need no white sugar. No.
Tell them,
Yeah, like
TC.
we honestly do that. We eat food like it's entertainment. Which
Facts.
don't get me wrong, like it's nice to do it all, but we had to find some kind of balance because if we keep doing that, our bodies are going to break down on us. You
Yes,
have to start listening to your
absolutely.
body, and especially for us folks that's getting older, the 90s kids, you definitely have to start watching what we eating.
We definitely have to be conscious of what we eat.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to have, to eat balanced diet. It's important to have a balance
Mhm.
when you eat. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And you're eating that fatty foods all the time and everything. We got to start cutting it a lot of times.
Yeah.
So start to challenge yourself.
And
You
don't
know,
go this cold turkey because that's one of the worst things you can do. You start breaking off little by little. And
hmm
nobody's saying you can't enjoy these foods, but we really gotta start learning how to have it in increments to probably once a month. Like it's up to you, it's your speed. But
absolutely,
you know, that's one of the ways how we could get better at that.
absolutely. I mean, to continue, we eat a lot of carbs.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
guilty of that too.
yeah, I love
We
me
eat a
some
lot
carbs.
of carbs. No, I'm serious. The carbohydrates, we eat a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
eat a lot of carbs.
Same
I'm
here.
not gonna lie to you. I
Mm-hmm.
do. So when we eat carbs, the carbohydrates, it turns to glucose or blood sugar.
Yeah.
So now carb foods are like bread, rice,
Pasta.
pasta, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the mac and cheese,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
much more. So carbs, like I said, has three types: the starch, the sugar, the fiber. We need carbs. Don't get me wrong. We need carbs to have energy. Okay. Now, if our blood sugar goes down,
Mm-hmm.
then our focus and concentration and attention span also goes down.
Yep.
I looked that up.
Mm-hmm.
So having a balanced diet, once again, and I'm gonna continue repeating this, is important. Whatever we choose to eat, it affects our brain, it affects our mind, it affects our brain, it
Mm-hmm.
affects our moods, and affects our body.
Yes.
Food and liquid drinks are the most important that I think people need to be conscious about because our body is a temple. What
Yep.
we drink and eat constantly is what affects us every day in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Brain affects your body. The brain, whatever you eat, like us, I'm gonna keep repeating myself, y'all. I'm gonna keep repeating myself. I'm telling you, your movements, your brain affects your body, your movements, your breathing, the
Yep.
heartbeat, everything that's in your body. You know, yo,
Like, well, here's one example. You ever went to Wendy's and got yourself a Baconator
talk about it.
and you just ate it and you just like, nah, I can't be feeling like this. And we keep doing it. We have to stop that addiction because when you keep doing that, man, mm-mm, especially with fast food, it's one of the biggest things in this country. For
Yes.
all the processed and fake stuff that's not meant for humans to consume. Because
Mm-hmm.
they think about it, they have those stuff in the food to keep it preserved for a long time.
Yes.
Understand? That's not actually good for us. So we really need to find a way to cut that down because, oh, fast food and soda, don't get me started on that. But
Come on.
uh,
Come on. We got the high fructose corn syrup we talked about, the
mhm,
artificial flavors we talked about. So the high fructose corn syrup, all of that, what we broke down in other episodes, it definitely affects your brain.
yeah,
And we talked about that,
hmm,
causing brain and inflammation and memory and learning it affects.
yeah,
The artificial sugary drinks, that affects your brain.
oh yeah,
Drinking high and alcohol, come on, alcohol, come on, y'all. Listen, come on, y'all. I even still drink alcohol, but we need some truth. Alcohol can cause memory loss Yes, it does. Because when we get drunk, huh? What happened? We were like, what happened? I remember that day.
I know this
Come
is like
on.
a different topic, but you know what's crazy? Alcohol's legal,
It is.
and they allow
Definitely
people to
is.
drink. Like,
I mean, alcohol is essential though. There are, things about alcohol that is very good. But
true.
like I said, drinking too much consumption
It's
of
just
alcohol.
it's
uh,
crazy how accessible it is,
yeah.
and you know what it does to our body. You know,
Yes.
and man, I don't want to get into it, but yeah,
Yeah. Come on.
yeah, yeah,
Come on. The
crazy.
behavior, it changes our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. We see when we drink when we drink too much alcohol, the behavior changes,
You might
the
get a learning
sleep.
disability.
Come
Shit.
on,
Mm-hmm.
the sleep disruption.
Yep.
If you, I'm telling you,
Liver
I
problems.
if you're listening to this, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. We all had a couple of heading once upon a time.
Come on. And we got that Henny, that's a rock. Listen,
The
even though
Georgia
we still
bottle.
conscious, don't get me wrong. Me and TC, we still gonna drink alcohol. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We still drink alcohol. That's a fact.
I drank alcohol Valentine's Day. Like I had a little
Yeah,
sippy sip, but
exactly. Come
that's why
on.
I had the little sippy sip because I have control.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all about control and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, your body is a temple.
Yes. Yep.
Anything before we move to a little bit about preservatives? A little bit. I'm going to touch a little bit, but not that much.
Okay.
Anything before we move on?
Now we can move on.
All right. Now,
I think I got this.
preservatives. I'm only going to touch about this a little bit. And then on the next episode, I'm going to touch on the ingredients about preservatives.
Ooh.
Okay. Preservatives helps prevent spoiling food and maintain the food nutritious quality.
Mm-hmm.
Preservatives added are processed foods,
Mm-hmm.
packaged foods, crackers, cereal, bread, snacks, and so much more.
The chips
There
are.
are healthy preservatives,
Mm-hmm.
such as vinegar and brown sugar.
Garlic.
Come on,
Mm-hmm.
garlic.
All natural.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying that's it. That's all I'm gonna say about preservatives. We're gonna get
Yeah.
to the preservative ingredients on the next episode.
And you guys, when you find out the ingredients, you'll be like, "Oh, damn, that's almost everything I eat in my household. The snacky snack time. Damn, like I can't have my midnight popcorn no more." But you guys have to find out next week.
Let's
But
go.
yeah.
Come on, listen. That's what it is. So
Mhm.
listen, we about to get in about man, we bring this guest over. I'm telling you,
You better.
whoo, how bold he is. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
um, and shout out to Terence Dickson, man. Like he's definitely a consultant. He's definitely someone that you need to connect with.
Yeah.
Someone that you need need some teaching. He'll definitely teach you.
And
Seriously.
also too, he can feed you too.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. Let's talk. Woo-hoo. Let's
Feed you
bring
the
them on.
phone and the stomach. So you guys are
Come
fine.
on. Facts. Let's go. Yo, let's bring them on. All right, y'all.
Bring them out. Bring them out.
DC Incentives, episode 18. Um, let's get it. I'm excited for this one. For our listeners, let me tell you something about Terrence. This guy he's a leader, a business owner, a consultant. He is definitely someone that definitely you need to get in contact with.
Yes.
Please, for our listeners that
Mm-hmm.
heard you before, please introduce yourself.
Drum roll.
All right, let's get a drum roll.
Moi, family, how you, man? Terence Dickson, owner of the Terra Cafe, Terra Loft Consultant. Boom, wait, boom, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. bye-bye my community, father, community leader,
Absolutely.
in Baltimore City for a minute, little short, quick one. We're located at 101 East 25th Street in the heart of Baltimore City on 25th and St. Paul. I've been here for over 20 years. In that period of time is that I own half the block, okay? Back at that time when I bought it was like New Jack City. And, through putting it together and whatever, I originally have the Terra Cafe right now, and everybody knows me as Chef T. But my roots really started with construction and the real estate when I hit Baltimore from New York. You know what I mean? So I've been here for that period of time. Over that period of time of 20 years, we've helped maybe 25 or 30 Black businesses, micro Black businesses get started, get their structure, get their vision, get strategies in place. And not just for business, but really for the whole life concept of self, of how we should be handling ourselves and holding ourselves accountable. And I guess that's me. I guess
I love it.
I guess that's enough fire to get started with that.
Let's go.
And
Let's go.
And a humble guy. You know what I mean? It's bigger than me. It was always my community. When we first started this thing at Terra Cafe, I started 11 years ago, and it was started with the understanding it was for my kids. I grew up. My father worked hard. He worked. You know what I mean? I got some principles from him. You got your work is to take care of your family, and your hustle or your trap is for you to grow. And he's always had both. You feel me? And once a month he would take us out. A couple times a month we go out to the steakhouse. Nice family out to dinner, steak, salad. All the bread you can eat joint. But it was always cowboys and cowboy music, so it wasn't anything. So when I started taking my kids out, you know what I mean? I wanted something different. And that's how we created Terra Cafe. I wanted people to see something different. When I came to Baltimore, everybody talked about the wire. They talked about the drugs. They talked about the crime. And I saw the things. I saw art. I saw beautiful people. I saw music. And I wanted to change the narrative, not only for others that don't look like us, but for us. Sometimes you really got to trick people into being awesome. And that's what Terra Cafe was really based on. It was tricking our community being awesome. I brought in the food, healthy food, talking about vegetables and not fries, talking about bake and crazy butternut squash pie, crazy stuff. Oh, who's this crazy guy? Then I brought in the artists. Baltimore has just like the most, I thought New York was heavy when it came to art. Baltimore, all of it. You know what I mean? So we showed the art and then we brought the music. So like Robert Florida said, and some of the cats I studied early on in concepts of business was that you bring the art, you bring the food, you bring the culture. Yo, guess what's coming next? The bread. You know what I mean? And that's what we started because, in our community, we've always had to, like this new word that they say pivot, and we've done that from day one. You know what I mean? Since like 1690, we've been pivoting. So what's going to change now? That's who I am. Okay. And I'm shy.
Let's go. Let's go.
You
just, let's go.
I love everything you just said. I respect everything you just said.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And those of you who, once you are Baltimore, please check out Terra Cafe. Got the delicious, got the curry chicken, the jerk,
the crazy fish.
Yeah, the crazy,
the crazy fish.
Did you say you have butternut squash pie?
Yeah, yo, I tell you what, when I opened up, the first thing we opened up in, like I said, 11 years ago, and just came up with it. Everybody knows sweet potato pie, right? I said, man, I'm gonna trick some people. Butternut squash pie, and Sheila Dixon was the mayor at that time, and she had a Christmas show, and she invited me on, and killed it. You know what I mean? We was like the pie king for like the next 4 months. You know what I mean? It was crazy, and it's healthy, all nice, all healthy. You know what I mean? Made with honey, made with just the way that we should be eating. Like I said, that's the key that I look at life is that, you become great by making other people great. So, keep pushing, but the butternut squash pie is definitely a hitter. It still is.
Sounds like
go.
Yes. Yes.
Very good. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's Yo, listen, we definitely we are definitely adding value, and it's definitely like that like well, we just want to ask you a couple of questions for our listeners because of
Please.
what's going on right now. So what was the like what made you become a leader of who you are today? And I'm talking about from what like I'm talking about from like when you was like I would say like maybe when you was 15, 18 years old to like the person who you are now. Can you give the leadership of what made you become the person you are today?
You know what? That one's pretty easy. You know, I think that all of us we're a reflection of the community that we're brought up in, or a community of direction. You know, I'm kind of different. I move different. You know, I was born in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I was born in a house, not a hospital. The story is told. My father paid like $32 for a midwife to come, and she, you know, for a whole week came, cooked, cleaned, took care of my mother, birthed me, and then stayed another few days afterwards and everything for a couple bucks. And you know, back at that time, you know, it was crazy. You know, I saw leadership in my family, from my grandfather owning a hog farm, from my uncles. And you know what? The one thing was, I knew that, you know, I was entitled to have stuff. I knew that I could do things with, you know what I mean? So that's where I guess the leadership really came from. It came from the back of our family, and seeing people and seeing us lead, seeing us making things happen when there wasn't no room. You know what I mean? I got crazy stories. I got crazy stories that, you know, not being able to go in with my grandmother, not being able to go in Woolworth and eat at the food counter, have to order at the colored side, you know, when it was the dishes, and they just disrespected you in that aspect because you couldn't go in. I remember swinging on the chrome rails, and my grandmother bust me in the back, and I thought she was the most evil person in the world that day. But in reality, I knew that it was more important that she did it instead of somebody else putting their hands on me. You feel me? And I remember leaving there, going outside and waiting for your food, son, waiting for your food. You got the white only faucet, and then you got the colored faucet in the alley, which was completely different. A rusty bowl joint with just a spigot. But you know, all of that right there. I remember walking down a few blocks to the feed store, and my grandfather was doing business. Here's a black man doing business with the feed store, with a guy calling him Mr. Moss. Yes, sir. No, sir. We're gonna load your truck for you. Thank you so much. So see, at that point, I knew that business was gonna leave me. I knew that guess what? I didn't have to, you know, follow the rest of the crowd. I knew that, you know, they already poisoned me. I knew that I could be great. I could be great. Like, you know, you got to make the next move up. And that's what makes me do what I do now for my sons and my daughter. You know what I mean? I'm setting the bar higher. And even if it's not my kids, just the people that meet me, you know, and those that work with me, I'm setting the bar higher. And I think that's just that thing that's in you when you, as you say, a leader or a Baba, it's just in you, you know? But I would guess that's where it really started for me, is the reflection of family in our community. And that's something that's coming back right now. And that's why I came on your show to talk about how it's coming back in a big way. All
Let's
right.
go. Let's go. Terrence, you know you are Black History Month. You know that you are Black
You
History.
know, I don't believe
You
in
know,
Black History Month. You know that, right? Because
talk about it, King.
we're worth more than that, baby. How you let somebody minimize you that you only really can celebrate you and your culture for 12 months? How can you do that? You feel me?
Talk about it.
All right.
Talk
If you look
about
at
it, King.
stuff, I really don't have a whole lot of posts out there. I'm saluting people. I'll salute our culture. But in reference to saluting that holiday, it's a disrespect. It really is. At some point in time, you know what I mean? You're going to give me the shortest month. You're going to give me 1 month. And I built all of this. You feel me? Yo, why can't I hit mine through the whole year? All right. You hit yours through the whole year. And see, those are the things that we jump to. You know, everybody want to be friendly Black on this. Guess what? You know, at some point in time within this whole structure of this new growth right now, we're going to have to learn a couple of tools to put in our pocket. We're going to have to learn sometime take a bag of popcorn and sit that ass on the sidewalk and wait and do the things we need to do for our community and direct ourselves. And I think that's where we're at right now. I don't think that it's really just this intellectual discussion anymore. because we done did that already, baby. We done did that for the last 50, 60 years. You know, intellectually, you can tell why we're suppressed and this, that, and the other, that. I think it's more so of a hostile type takeover now of a directive that, listen, I'm not going to ask you, I'm going to tell you. Okay? Because until we get to the point that we really understand the whole concept of FUBU, for us and by us, and hold that standard to everybody else, guess what? What are we really doing? Okay? Because if we don't get it now, please understand, that's why I'm here today. And that's why I've been speaking. That's why I've taken time away from my restaurant, more so to work with Terraloff Consulting to really get businesses right now and get our communities right now. Because guess what? You know, this world is driven by bread. Okay. The concept of so many years has been what? Profit before people, right? For so many years. You know what I mean? That's what had people, you know, guess what? Everybody wasn't on the slavery piece, this, that, and the other, but it was how the culture was. And guess what? Everybody ain't on racism right now, but it's how the culture is. And what I'm talking about is I don't want to work with none of that no more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sit at nobody else's table. I'm looking at we create our own table. I look at it that we lead. Okay, we take the right position of where we need to be, because when you look at all around you right now, what do you see? A reflection of you. Yeah. From the foods that people eat, from the attitudes in mind, good, bad, or indifferent attitudes. You know what I mean? From dance, from culture, from the whole mindset. Come on, man. You know, you got cats inventing stuff out of tires, cans, and burnt out parts, and they're creating things that could actually change the world. And then you got other people in the world that have everything and they still can't get it right. You feel me? So I mean, it really is time for us to, you know, hold ourselves accountable. It's that hostile takeover with yourself of you saying, you know what, this ain't it. This ain't it. I'm gonna be the change. This ain't it. And ain't nobody coming. You feel me? So I mean, that's how I get excited right now, is because I already know. And see, once you actually know your destination, guess what you got the ability to do? You got the ability to put yourself in overdrive and get there. All right? Because when you really don't know what you're going, what are you doing? Naturally, you're just creeping. You're just moving a little bit. You're moving a piece a little bit. But then when you get to the point that you're really tuned in, okay, come on. That's where it happens. You know what I mean? That's where that magic happens. That's where you go to your calendar and you circle that date, because this is happening. You feel me? You know? So I've circled that date on my calendar. This is happening. You know, somebody told me one time before, I was listening to his brother D Chase, and we were talking, and he was saying that this was right after the riots here, all right, with the Freddie Gray and stuff, man. And he was saying that, you know what, you know, leaders are born here in Baltimore. They're born in the midst of all of this right here. And he talked about that those conversations that you have with yourself, that possibly Martin Luther King had to have, that Malcolm X had to have, because a lot of times when you actually choose your community, guess what you're doing? You're choosing your community over your family. And that's got to be heavy, and especially if you're a person that you're rooted in family, son. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? Those are those conversations that we have to have. And you know what, it was on my mind, and this is like 5, 6, 7, that many years ago. And what that conversation me and him had is stuck with me. All right. Because it came a point, because I do business like a ninja. If you didn't know me, you wouldn't know me, son. You know, I did my first million in real estate when I was about 36. You feel me? Out of nowhere. All right. Doctor said I wouldn't walk again. I'm in an environment. I didn't know nobody. I had a little bit of bread and had some crazy ideas that I was going to buy these houses and fix them up and create a portfolio. You know what I mean? Everybody was on some other mess, and they was trying to do it. They was trying to do this flip game, but it really wasn't it. It was temporary money. It wasn't really a solution to our community or to ourselves. You know what I mean? It wasn't within the frame. Like I told you, my father said, you got a job, it takes care of you, and then you got your hustle or your trap to grow. You feel me? So what I did was I made my house as my job. That way I knew that every day my portfolio was consistent. I know that I took care of my house, my kids, you know what I mean? You know, like they say, you got to put that mask on you first. Couple of times I don't, but overall, I normally do make sure that, I make sure my family's protected. And I think that's the key thing of all what we're going to talk about today is really family. Whether that is somebody that is your close blood family, or whether or not it's your community that is your family. I mean, these are the discussions that we have to have. and it's kind of mandatory, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Let's go.
Yeah.
TC.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
is this especially a family topic? How can our generation break generation curses? How
Once
can
again,
we?
baby, come on, speak up a little louder for me. I can't hear
Oh,
you.
can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay. Speaking of family, how can we break generational curses in this day and age?
You know what? It's about really one of the things that is it's that old thing. You're gonna have to lead by example,
Mm.
okay? And you're gonna really have to call them out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not easy. It's not easy, man. Please understand, man. When you take the role of a leader, when you take the role of your community, it's a very lonely road.
Mm-hmm.
People might look at you like you're a rock star. Yo, son, you got a half a block. Yo, you got 5 businesses. Yo, you do this. But yo, at the end of the night, when you're waking up 1:30 in the morning, you're figuring out how you're gonna put it all together. You got 20 people counting on you, and your books are down 80%. You know, you got people counting on you, and you already started the game with not enough money to get started. But you know what? That is the biggest mistake that so many people wait for in their whole life is they wait for stuff to be perfect. Sometimes you just got to jump, son. Sometimes you got to jump, and I think that is the key that most entrepreneurs do is we jump. You know, if you look at it, listen to everybody's story. Everybody got the same story. They was making that lasagna out their back door. They was frying that chicken on the weekend. All right, she was doing hair on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You feel me? And then somebody crazy said, yo, you could do a business. And then you had a few $100, halfway credit card, and a crazy idea you could win. And you went out and you jumped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right. That is the story of most entrepreneurs. And then the story is the same though when you jump. Yeah, I'm gonna get in this early, but we might as well. Why not? Ain't no need to hold back. What you say? Let's go. All
Let's
right.
go. Let's
No.
let's go.
No.
So, you know what I mean? So normally when they jump out, what they do is they jump out and they don't know. They're great on it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They fry that chicken to us right. You know what I mean? Almost don't need no hot sauce. Almost. Okay. All right. They even figure out how to do a couple of sides and stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
But now here's the problem where we run into because they're first round entrepreneurs, because it's the first time out the door. All right. There's a learning curve that has to be, you know, happen at that point. And normally what happens, I don't care what kind of business you have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what kind of business you have. In our community, we're never properly funded. Okay. But it's not new. Okay. When I was in New York and they had that Black Monday with Wall Street, cats was jumping out the buildings and stuff. It wasn't nobody that looked like me because we knew. You feel me? And if they did look like me and they jumped out, guess what? It's because they forgot who they were. They forgot their inner strength. You feel me? But normally what happened when you start out in business, you're great on, I explained to my mentee that they got 2 parts of business. Let's get you there. I don't want to lose you. I want to keep you with me. You got 2 parts of business. So like a beautiful piece of salmon, you know what I mean? Y'all had salmon yesterday. I know a lot of people had salmon yesterday, Valentine's Day, the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? I had that brown sugar and ginger beer salmon. Coming to Jerk Garden soon. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
And crazy part is that, when you look at it, it's beautiful on top, man. All the brown sugar. I had some crumble, the whole 9 yards. But the one thing is this, when you turned it over, because the secret, what I do, I season the pan. Okay. When you turn it over, it was lumpy. It was discolored, maybe a little charred on the end piece. But guess what? That's the work side.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So in our business, and the work side is what makes the flavor. It really was cook the salmon. The show side is just showing you the end result. Okay. So when we start with our businesses, normally what we got down real good is the show side. The work side, we don't have a clue. We don't know about accountants. The part that we do know about accountants is wrong. And we'll get into that later. We don't know about the legal part of it, the marketing, the proper licensing, Dun & Bradstreet, LLCs, you know what I mean? So you really don't know business structure. So what happens, you go out and you jump and you run. and you do it for 2 to 3 years. And then at that point, when you get your business to the point where you're about right and you're ready for the next level, you're thinking, I'm going to expand or something. Guess what? You can't. You know why? You don't got no books. You don't know nothing about business.
Yeah.
All right. The tax is beating you in the head now. Okay. You might not have had the right insurance. You done wasted the first 3 years. You ain't getting no rep from Dun & Bradstreet. You don't have no trade lines. You don't have no credit lines. What are you doing? So basically what happened is you dug yourself in the hole for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know. But if you knew better, you do better. And then it takes you about a year and a half or 2 years to come out of that if you do. Because exposure is a mother in business. You know what I mean? For you to be exposed that much, it don't work well. But that's what's up. That's what TLC does. That's what Terrell Consulting does. That's what I've been doing here over 20 years. You know what I mean? And not just on this block, I mean, in all of Baltimore City. You know what I mean? I've had calls from Houston, from Atlanta. I've consulted in just about, everybody knows somebody and they want to talk. California, and always been there. But now as they say, we leveled up now. Now we're getting ready to put this on the road. You know what I mean? We're going to definitely make it right here in Baltimore. Baltimore is about the largest concentration of micro Black businesses in the U.S. that has the ability to communicate. This is going to be the new Black Wall Street. This is the new Black Wall Street. Tulsa, Oklahoma was the first joint. This is the rebirth of it right here. You feel me? And, we're going to put it on the road here. We've got some big hitters that really believe in us, the Hyatt Regency. You know what I mean? We got next month, we're going to have our Build Back Bazaar, all right, for the businesses. Okay. A lot of business out here, man, a lot of fatigue, a lot of misinformation. And when you really look at a lot of businesses are closing, but a lot of Black businesses have made their move. Some of them have closed, but they haven't stopped. If they fell on their back and they're getting back up. You feel me? So as we get ready for this whole new way of how business is done, you feel me? When we get ready for this whole new thing, I'm looking to make sure that our Black culture is at the lead part of it, all right, that we're leading, okay? One of the things is that, we're really working on helping businesses right now, even though they've been in business. And please, everybody, terrellofconsulting.com, click on the link. We got a free little joint where we give you a free business analysis. I got something else that's coming up real heavy too, and we'll talk about a little bit later on, a positioning of how this new ecosystem is being created for micro businesses. Because remember, they can't do it like they did it before. It don't work. Remember, we pay the bills, okay? Middle class and small business pay the bills. Big business figures out how to loop around them. So it's mandatory that they get us back up on our feet. And guess what? We just need to make sure that we're in unison with one voice. We need to make sure that we're together and that we go further than before. If we let this thing come back, like a lot of, I almost said that word, like a lot of people are talking about of just a reset. No, son, this has got to be a refresh. It's got to be a fresh piece of paper. It's got to be a fresh attitude. It's got to be a fresh approach of what happened is what's right. With people just admitting what we've been saying for so long about systemic racism. Oh, all right. It's very important that we make sure that we maximize on this opportunity right now. Okay? Because understand that this is that when this first happened, when this COVID-19 happened, I looked at it different. I've been working with my accountant for 2 years on this business structure thing and really getting to the part of not being so much of a guru, but really understanding. And you know what, when you have tools in your toolbox, you have the ability to think crazy of what you could build and what you create. So she gave me new tools in my toolbox. And guess what? A lot of them I realized I've been doing them for years. I just did not know the terminology. I just did not know how they link together. And I had to erase some of the myths that have been taught to me in reference to how to do our business in structure. You feel me? You know what I mean? That's why we're really focusing on, we got this thing called a hot 7. In reality, to a successful business, there are 7 hot things you got to have, for you to be successful. And That's what we're working on right now with all the small business. Like I said, coming out the gate, making sure they get their hot 7 and being a support. Because in the Black community, we don't really have our own personal support for small Black business. We don't. You know, you got the NAACP, where you at. You got Urban League, where you at. You feel me? All right.
Oh, we
And you
doing
got some of the,
blows.
huh?
Oh, we doing
gotta do
doing
that, though.
blows.
No,
Okay, we
No,
doing blows.
guess what?
We
If
doing
that's your title,
blows.
call me out. If I say I got the best fish in town and mine ain't no good, call me out. Okay?
hey,
Because guess what? I want to have the best fish.
Mm,
So if you want to lead Black people, what do you need to do? Somebody need to call you out.
mm.
Okay? And you know what? These little webinars and stuff really ain't doing what they do. Black Caucus, I'm not going to, where you at? Okay? You know, at the beginning of this thing, man, I thought this was going to be the greatest thing since 40 acres and a mule for Black people. Because at the beginning, when they talk to you the right way. They talk to you like they had sense. They said, listen, we got this thing that's going on. And the crazy part was I spoke to my lawyer, one of my lawyers, all right, maybe about a month and a half beforehand, 2 months beforehand, and a cat by the name of Robert Grossbart. And we talked about what it was doing overseas, what it was doing in China and whatever, wherever it was. We're at that point, we was having a discussion, okay? And we talked about how it was gonna really affect the hospitality business, okay? How it was gonna affect my community, how it was gonna affect the Black community.
Yeah.
Right? And even at that time, we talked about the health aspect in reference to most Blacks don't have any health care at all. You know what I mean? And especially Black men. Shit, I'm scared of needles, but I'm scared of hospitals too. And especially in Baltimore, you hear the nightmare stories about some of the hospitals here. They're back during, you know, the 30s and 40s and the 50s, you know, snatching brothers off the street. You know what I mean? You know, we can go over and over again, man. There's so many conversations. Guess what? It didn't just happen here. It happened everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody got a blood hospital somewhere where they grab Black people and people that were detached from society at that point, all right, and did something wrong. Come on, it's all. But that's the difference. Wow. Yo, sometimes because it's so heavy, man.
yeah,
It really is.
that's a
All
lot.
right. But I mean, here's the great part. The heaviest part right now is that I'm blown away that we have the ability to make the difference. Look at this, man. Yo, we're going to be part of creating this new joint. But like, I thought that was going to be the greatest thing for us. I thought it was going to be 40 acres and a mule. They said that they were going to make sure that everybody got fed. I said that finally Black business was going to, and small business was going to get the opportunity to have credit lines and bank lines. And then we would be able to roll that with direction in reference to owning the bricks. You feel me?
Yeah.
Until we stop this sharecropping, okay? Until we stop this sharecropping, renting places, all right, to live in, renting places to do business in, renting communities to live in, until we really own the bricks on, we're never gonna be stable. All right, we're never gonna be stable because they could change the game on you just like that. Understand, I'm in the heart of Baltimore City. I got John Hopkins about 5 blocks up from me. I got Micah about 5 blocks down from me, okay? And even in their opening orientations, I've been here for over 21 years, man. Even, and I've in my restaurant over 11 years, I've been trying to get a relationship with them since then, okay? In their open orientation, they're on 33rd Street. It's safe from 33rd Street to 27th Street. And then it's not safe from 27th Street to North Avenue, which is 20th Street. That's 7 blocks, okay? And then it's 5 blocks wide. And you would ask yourself, well, wait a minute. And then from 20th Street all the way to the harbor on their orientation, this is what they tell all of their kids at school. This is what the professors, the security force, they have their own security force believes, okay? And then you ask yourself, what is in between? What is that danger? Yo, what's that danger in between 27th and 20th Street? Largest concentration of Black business in the state of Maryland for about the last 30, 40 years. That's what's there. That's that beast. That's that animal. And I'm not talking about barbershops and salons. I'm talking about for-profit, nonprofit, newspapers, banks, Black. You feel me? Okay.
That's
But there
powerful.
was no revenue.
That's
The
powerful.
largest and most powerful colleges, institutions, yo, institutions in the world, man, they own just about all of Baltimore City. Okay. And they're fearful of that few blocks. All right. That 30 blocks. You feel me? 30, 35 blocks, 5 wide, 7 deep. You know, that's 35. You know, so I mean, even till today, you know, still somewhat the same. Matter of fact, over here where we're at now, I'm the last stronghold. Me and a sister named Jackie that has Trey Mason down the street. She has a commercial piece, and I think she has about maybe 14 units, all beautiful Black businesses. You know what I mean? We still have a few Black businesses here, but what has happened that I've over the years, I've shared with everybody to get involved in buying the bricks. And no one understood. No one wanted to understand it. You know, who's gonna listen to some crazy Jamaican dude? Even though I'm from Orangeburg, South Carolina, me, I'm American. Flip flops talking about business, talking about owning the bricks, talking about Black is beautiful. This was before everything, you know, before Black Lives Matter. I didn't need nobody to tell me that shit. I know I matter. You know?
Talk
You
to
know?
him.
You know what I mean?
Talk to him.
It's
You
a
know
We
what
do
beautiful
matter.
thing, though.
nobody
We
needs
do
to tell
matter.
you
Yeah,
that.
we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preach that. You feel me? So I mean, certain things in our community, like I said, you know, certain things we got to really kind of like erase. I'm not saying nothing against that or nothing of that nature, but I mean, you know, common sense ain't that common. So when you got to have somebody tell you that you're awesome, you got to have somebody tell you you're beautiful. Something wrong, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just
I
that
totally agree.
yeah, but that's the main thing that I look at that us focusing on, and I don't want to stray far away from it, is that small business structure. I mean, white, black, purple, plaid, green, whatever. If you reach out to Terraloff Consultant, TLC, I got you. You know what I mean? We move different anyway. Okay, we move different. All right. And we're building, but we want to really do is we want to focus on our community. All right. I want to build us. You feel me? All right. I come with an agape hand. See, I'm a real business guy. I'm not worrying about the bread because I know if I put the right structure and the product together, the money's gonna come. You know, you got amateurs that put the dollar sign in front first. You know what I mean? That don't look at the purpose of their community and what they're supposed to do. You know, it's an amateur. You know, they're gonna be here and gone, baby. You know, so you know, I look to create people that have a warrior mindset. You know what I mean? We're hunters, we're gatherers. You feel me? You know, we're the king of to put something on it. You might can't pay it off, put a little something on it.
Now, here's my question. You as a leader, what was the most difficult decision you ever made?
And this can come from the beginning to the current
Yeah,
day.
absolutely.
Any time of your business life, like
My divorce.
Mm,
okay,
That's the most difficult. That
okay,
was the one. You know what I mean? You know, I chose at that time, I chose the best for my kids. I chose the best for my first wife at that point, and it wasn't us in the same, you know, energy at that point. So that was the toughest one. You know, that's the one that rocked me. You know what I mean? But you know, the one thing of that, all through those challenges, man, it's really what made me strong. When people ask me, somebody asked me this the other day, and they asked me, would I attribute my success to? And I said my first wife, because I always was working. I was always working. You know what I mean? I was always working, and I'm thankful for that. You know, a lot of times when people have challenges in life, man, they run to other things. They run to a whole lot of negative shit, man. They chase the chicks or
yeah,
booze or whatever. And, you know, my father stayed in my ear. Talk to God, work with your hands. Talk to God, work with your hands. And, you know, me talking to God so much and working with my hands. And, yo, definitely ain't all right. So, everybody got a little something they did or whatever. But I focus on talking to God and working with my hands, you know, and he's always made a way. And I think that's for our community. God has always made a way for our community. We've never had to say that it was to the point of you just giving up. No, it was just always to the point of how bad you wanted it, you know?
Mm,
I love,
yes,
I love that
love
take
that.
because a lot of people lose hope, but like you said, work with your hands, and God will always guide you. Always.
Absolutely.
Got you. You
Yes.
know, I knew that I loved my kids,
Hmm.
and like I said, that was the most challenging thing that I've ever done in business, because I knew that it going on. And see, guess what? Understand, when you're an entrepreneur and you get to the part your business, that's your lifestyle, son.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing you punch a card and put it on the board. That ain't it. That's your lifestyle.
Yeah.
It ain't no days. I tell you what, since this COVID-19, all this stuff kind of weaved together. You know, I greet people sometime. I'd be like, yo, happy Tuesday, and it's Thursday. You feel me? It weaves together. You know what I mean? So, this becomes a lifestyle. It becomes how you eat, how you sleep, how you dream, how you move. Because, in reality, for you to do what you do, you got to have a long haul goal. Mine is to be on an island somewhere, commanding my business, have access to my kids when I want to have access to my kids, and do my thing, bless others. You know what I mean? At will.
Okay. I have a quick question. How did you manage during COVID-19?
Huh?
How did you manage during COVID-19? How did you manage to run your company and stay uplifted during these times?
You know, One of the first things, like I said, is that, that was a child. At first, I was pumped up. Okay. I thought we were going to get a whole lot of support. And I got a call from Teddy Coates from Bank of America, good friend of mine. And we were working on this was like the first article they did on me then. NBC did a thing with the PPP because I had all the right pieces. Like I said, I was working with my accountant. You know what I mean? I had the business structure, everything. And we talked that more than before. And the crazy part was that I was on the way to talk that morning. It was a good day. I had talked to Robert Harrington, a big developer here in Baltimore, awesome dude, Robert Harrington. All right. And he let me hold his truck, went to food bank, went to go get some food. We was gonna give it out turkeys and chickens that day. You know what I mean? It was gonna be a good day, because that's what I do here. I do the Neighbors Without Walls every second Sunday. We feed the homeless. We've done it since day one I opened. You know what I mean? So 11 years, 10 years or so, we've been hitting strong. We've done it differently now. We're still rocking. And he came back, and I came back, and I talked to him. My application was in. I was going to be good. And when I got back and get ready to unload, he called me and he says, yo, T, he wasn't hype. He didn't have no energy. It was almost like somebody took everything from him. And he says, it's going to be a problem. And I kind of froze. And he says, you got everything. You got the bank account, you're licensed, you're in good standing. You know what I mean? You got 24 people working for you. All right. And he says, only thing, you don't have a bank relationship. I'm like, yo, what the hell is this bank relationship? I'm like, yo, listen, I've been dealing with Bank of America. I done put some bags in there. I told you what I did when I was 36. So what stuff went through. And I realized that, guess what? I didn't have a credit card or a loan with them. I've been giving this bank hundreds of thousands of dollars for years.
Mhm.
Okay. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for years. And I had no relationship with them. You know what I mean? You know? And I was rocked. But I was rocked for me, but I was rocked so much for my community because I know we were going to be done. And I told this story because you said, how did I make it through? Because that moment pissed me off. That moment right there, when it gets real rough, I go back to that moment because I said, you'll never push me down. You'll never. You feel me? And I could have been selfish. After that article that came out, we had an opportunity to meet with the White House. And this cat, Renard Jackson, this reporter out of DC. And he was real good with Trump's people. And He got a meeting with, they wanted to talk to me, but I already knew what had happened because Bank of America had called me. They gave me a special banker. You know what I mean? Now I'm on I got a national article out coast to coast saying that you guys already messing up at the beginning. Now they wanted to be my friend. And, I took that call, right? I did. I need that bread, that bags, baby. I ain't mad. I don't care who write the check. You know what I mean? All right. There's a debt to be paid to our community, and it's no need to get fancy about who writes the check. And I don't think that too many people want to have a real intellectual conversation about that. When you say Republican or Democrat, guess what? Ain't either one of them never did what we were supposed to do. So I don't give nobody no kudos, son. All right. But at that point, I decided, you know what? After I was shook, after they took my breath away, after I couldn't move for about an hour in that truck, and my people know the trip, baby. They know I carry the weight. I carry it on my sleeves all over. I carry my community on my back. They knew that something had hit hard, but they understood. You know what I mean? It ain't new. I'm a warrior. You know what I mean? I don't have the nice story to tell you like some people. I don't got the Harvard. I got the crazy one.
Let's go.
I got all of that, but I got that I'm standing. And I guess that also, my business is bigger than most. You feel me? I feel
you.
A lot of rock stars right now on all these, podcasts and everything else, and they talk about all these great ideas and stuff of that nature. But here's the great part. I don't have to tell you what I read. I can tell you what I lived. And mine has surpassed anybody that has spoken so far.
Say that again, please.
You have to say that again.
Please say that again. Say that again, what you just said. Say that.
That was a gem just now.
Oh, yeah, that was a gem.
He says nonchalant. You didn't say that again.
Yes.
But so that was the thing that just kept me going this whole time. It's been my community, because I've seen and see. I understand this piece. I could have been real selfish when it came to that trip to DC.
Yeah.
Look at that. See them hands right there, baby. I could have got the bags, baby. You already know what it was. It was hush money. All right. It was going to be that conversation with me and saying, hey, how you doing? What do you need? And write a check. But see, I didn't want that. So what I did was I came up with another strategy. I said, you know what? We're going to roll down on them. All right. So I looked in Baltimore. I said, you know what? I need somebody with some kind of validation. That's what I thought at that time. All right. Like I said, who's going to believe this cat? Locks, flip-flops, wearing shorts all the time. Rain, snow, sleet, don't matter. There's something wrong with this dude. All right. Dashikis. Who going to believe this cat? All right. Might want to check, see if he got a green card or some shit. All right. But so I tried to partner up with a few people, and it just didn't work out for me. You know what I mean? I wanted to run down with somebody like NAACP or the Urban League, all right? Or maybe one of the business chamber, and I did find a business chamber, the Greater Baltimore Black Business Chamber, all right? And like I said, man, we lead over here, son. We lead. So, I have understandings that are a little bit more advanced than other people in other situations. Like I said, they read books. I live life. And we tried the first time, okay? Well, we did the first time. Not tried, we did. We met with them, about maybe 30 people. And we had a great discussion. It was the head of the small business and head SBA out of Atlanta. It was another brother in there that was dealing with small business out of DC. They spoke. We had a great conversation. And I told them what I wanted. I told them what the problem was. I told them that my community was going to be wiped out, because as long as you put these limitations on us, that the only way we get money is with the bank's relationship, we were done. And at that time, I asked for $5 million for Baltimore City emergency. This wasn't just it. I just needed to wet the beak first. I wanted $5 million for the Baltimore City small business. And I wanted to make sure that the relationship that I had built, we would be able to distribute ourselves. I did not want to take it through the traditional channels of where the money was stuck already. Okay. And at that point, they told me that they'd been to Baltimore already. They told me they'd been to Baltimore 4 or 5 years ago. They told me they dropped $75 million here. for small Black business in Baltimore. And like I told you, I'm that dude. Okay, I'm that small business dude of Baltimore. If that much bread was on the ground, I would have known. Somebody would have said something. Okay, because none of my friends and none of my relations, nobody brought up any of that. Okay, so now at that point, I started scratching my head, and it turns out they did. And it turns out once again we didn't get what we were supposed to. They dropped $75 million to Harbor Bank, which is a Black bank, and ain't nothing hit our community, man. And it's not the first time I had relationships with them that really wasn't positive to our community. All skin ain't your kin, as they say in the country. All skin ain't your kin. Okay, you feel me? That's why they try to move to those streets where they block off and stuff, where you can't come in your neighborhood, and it's the one way to go in a circle 3 times and one to the left, so you can't get out and you can't get in. You know what I mean? So they isolate us out, and it's kind of like the same way in the financial world too. You know what I mean? I got one of the most awesome cats that I know, Robert DeShiel, the great Robert DeShiel. Attorney, Esquire, attorney, and we have awesome conversations. I mean, unbelievable. And he's that guy. If you want to be in the political arena, business, most of the stuff that's been written for the state and stuff, got his hands on it. He's the lawyer's lawyer. You know what I mean? And in reference to understanding of where the bank system is set up now, that how could you expect anything other than that? Just because you have a Black person in there running the bank, just because you said it's Black, if you're not really putting it to the community the way it should be. And then also there are things we need to talk about: reparations. You know what I mean? There needs to be educations and housing set up automatically just because of who you are, okay? And it needs to be where we find those positions to fill those. You know what I mean? So these are all real heavy conversations, and but it's what you find is that we're so disconnected from it, and we get tied up. I remember when I was in New York, man, and I was working on 11th Avenue, and one of the big things was that going to Sylvia's or some of the places after, Friday, man, I was in the car business, man. I'm a sharp. Shirts made, suits made, shoes made, okay, riding around in the cars in the little light limos and stuff. But the big thing with a business card was that all cats, I ain't even got no business card, I don't believe them. All cats would run around with what their business card said, all right? And that's what I look at it now. Cats now, they run around with their business card said and not what they do, okay? And it's such a disaster where they're really looking for ego. When you challenge somebody and they get a little huff on you, it's because their ego. It's not whether or not it's their ego. You feel me? Like I said, this is a big, big change for me. I'm a ninja how I do my business. If you didn't know me, you wouldn't know me. I drive a 98 Toyota 4Runner. Yo, I've had everything. You know what I mean? I've ridden in Rolls, Bentleys, Ferraris.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Cats that I've mentored and taught, they were able to get their weight up and that's what they drive and I ride. But I've never been that kind of cat. You know what I mean? Because of me being in New York for so long and with the cars and everything else, I saw a value in something different and bigger. You know what I mean? But that's kind of like the key. You have a lot of places and stuff of that nature. And the crazy part is you look at some of these corporations and stuff that are our corporations and our people,
Mm-hmm.
and they're beautiful. Some of them, they're going to be set up either one or two ways. You're going to have a board of 8 or 9 beautiful Black people, and they lie. They're liars. Because guess why? When you have a business, and I'm not going to call no names, I'm going to try not to. Okay, you can have a beautiful Black business, all right, that you're really put in a community, and you're that CDFI, all right. You're that institution that is supposed to get money and funding and direction. Okay, you throwing bags at people, you ain't doing nothing, son. You ain't doing nothing. You're insulting them. If you throw bags, if I give you $10,000 and you ain't never had nothing, what you gonna do with that $10,000? Burn it. Yeah. You're gonna spend it, you're gonna eat it, you're gonna do something. But if I give you $10,000 and I tell you, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to break off. We're going to put this much over here and do this with it. We're going to take this much and we're going to do this here with it. And then we're going to take this piece right here and we're just going to put that down for the rainy day. Guess what? And we're going to come up with a strategy and you're going to do A, B, C. Guess what? You ain't got to never worry about it no more. Because see, I didn't feed you. All right? I didn't feed you. I taught you how to feed yourself. And see, that's the part that we keep missing. And that's the part that I look at that right now during all of this that TLC is doing, is that we're going to teach cats how to feed themselves. We're creating warriors. You feel me? Sign up, terrellofconsulting.com. Also, when they do the little business joint, that we do a little free business analysis on them, I got an ebook for them. Warrior Mindset. Yo.
All I can say, you're a savage. That's all I can say. You're a savage.
Oh, yo, I'm telling you, leaders make bold moves and leaders say bold things. It's like, yo, it's no stopping. This is what I'm talking about. We dropping gems, value. Come on, Terrence. Come on. Yo, come on. This is what I'm talking about. On now. Come on now. That's what I'm saying. Make bold decisions. You heard what he just said? Mm-hmm. Come on, y'all. Oh, come, yo.
Take that lead.
You know what? I wanted to let's touch more on the community and business for like, what was the inspiration of Terra Cafe, and talk about more of how did you get to manage your team to and motivate them to continue have the business running?
You know, the motivation with Terra Cafe, I said at the beginning, was it was my kids. I originally thought I was creating it for my kids, all right? And then I realized that I just didn't have 3 or 4 kids. I realized that I had hundreds of kids. I realized that every time that some kid came in the cafe and I came through, all right, like I do, and I'm a chef. I'm going to yell. I'm going to say some stuff. I'm going to give some directions, but it come out with love. So when I hit the floor, I just do. And then who's this crazy guy walking around and people listening and moving? But also when I went to the schools and I spoke at the schools, you know what I mean? And I kind of picked that up from first, man, a compassion for Baltimore City was when I was doing the real estate. Like I said, I did the real estate for quite a few years. And what I did was not only, I showed a lot of people how to get into the game, buying a home for their mom, buying a couple of investment property, instead of standing in front on the step, trying to trap off of it, buy it, rent it out. Guess what? You ain't got to come out that morning because you know the rent due, all right? You know what I mean? Turning that around a little bit, because the only thing you need is direction sometimes. You feel me? So I'm thankful that a lot of cats, matter of fact, a few of them started some real estate programs off of our earlier conversations. You know what I mean? And to see them grow and see them where they are now. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, that's kind of like, wow. That's you know, that's kind of like where it needs to be at. That's where it happens.
Okay.
Let's go.
You know, but yeah. So that lost a little bit there. Wow. You know, I don't talk about this stuff a lot. So sometimes when I talk and I listen to myself and I'm like, wow, you know, I remember friends, some of them here, some of them not here. Some of them locked up, some of them home. You feel me? I remember communities. And see, that's where my love for the kids of Baltimore City came from, because when I was going to those properties and fixing them up, good night, Mr. Jeffrey. All right. You know, and you go to a service call and you go in a house and you got little kids running around, house nasty, kids not eating, you know, Uncle Junebug on the couch playing a video game, you know, hitting out the back door, or maybe even no Uncle Junebug there. Maybe just some kids and a sister with a bunch of kids. And you know what I mean? You know, I done bought a lot of groceries. I done bought a lot of pizzas. All right. I done bought a lot of diapers. I done bought back a lot of clothes. You feel me? Because guess what? When I seen them kids, I seen mine. You feel me? And then, you know, I became accountable. See, once we get that part, we become accountable for our community, and it becomes bigger than a dollar. And then it's agape love, where you understand that what you put out is what's going to come back to you, and it might not come back to you. Once you get to that understanding, all the rest don't even really matter too much no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know, because you have an understanding that as long as I keep doing what I'm going to do, what I'm supposed to do, it's going to come. It's going to be right. You know? So that's where I guess that the love for the kids came in, because I seen that it wasn't just that. It was, I did it for all the kids. You know what I mean? Even them big ass kids, 30 and 40 years old. You know? You know? Right?
I mean to laugh.
He's talking. That's, yo, come on. He's right.
You know?
Come on. He's talking.
No, because guess what? Nobody has taught them. So guess what? If a Terence Dickson or a T. Sue didn't come in the door, Chef D didn't come in the door and didn't bring a pizza or a little bag of groceries, or say, hey, you know what I mean? What's going on? And you know, who would?
It's true.
Nobody else was coming. Who would?
Mm.
What did that do to that young man or that young lady? What did that do? You know what I mean? You know, where did that seed go? Man, you know how many cats I have walk up to me and they share positive energy. And that's that agape love that it comes back when, you know, you might be heavy in the head with something and God be like, get out of that. All right. Somebody will come to you with a problem that's bigger than yours, or somebody will come to you and just bless you with that energy. I had a cat one time, man, things was going a little rough and stuff. And he came and it was like Sam's Club or Restaurant Depot, Sam's Club. He gave me a pound coming. I know, you know how you know people, and they say, yo, and you go, yeah, give them the head nod, and you be like, yo, who was that? I don't know. All right, okay, yeah. You know what I mean? Because you don't be like, you don't want to be like, yo, what's up, son? Who? All right. Yo, dude came back, man. I'm in line. I did all the shopping. He was going out, heading out. He was leaving. He got his car left. He came back, man. He blessed me with some energy, man. He was like, yo, man, he said, I had to come back. He said, I seen you when you first started your joint. And he said, I was going through some rough times. And every day I saw you doing your thing and you speak and you give me encouraging word and whatever. And he told me that he had gotten through his issues. He had opened up a business, okay? And he has worked with the same model in reference to, guess what, ain't nobody coming. And he grinds, you feel me? All right? And that was heavy for me, because that was, you know what I mean? That, you know, you going along and everything ain't right. You need something to say, you know what? Yo, you're on the right path. And that was just God just say, yo, you're on the right path. You keep doing it. You keep touching people. You keep making people great. You know what I mean? Because that was the prayer that I had with him when I opened up Terra Cafe. I remember the first time my church down the street, when I was going to church, all right? We marched around the building, praying, singing, all that, right? And I remember that was great, but that was nothing compared to when my friend Kamal called me and said, hey, yo, what are you doing? I just opened up January 1st. I had did soft open and stuff before. I even held my family's Thanksgiving dinner, all right, that year. And that's a big honor, son. That's only done by the aunts. You know, I got like 7 aunts. And like every year, you know, Philly, Houston, Orlando, Atlanta, South Carolina, Connecticut. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I don't get that trap. I don't get that. You know, and they gave me Thanksgiving that year because I opened up the restaurant. So all my family came and we did. And that was a great moment. But the most awesome moment, I think, that was when my friend Kamal asked me if he could hold my restaurant. I opened up that January 1st, that second Sunday. He had asked me that week. After that first week, he said, next Sunday, can I use your restaurant? I wasn't open on Sunday yet. You know what I mean? And I said, just like a kid with a new bike, man, I just built this joint. It took me a whole year to build this, and I built it with my hands. You know what I mean? And I said, what you gonna do? He said, I'm gonna feed the homeless. Feed the homeless? I was like, okay, if you go, I'll let you do it if I can come. And went there that Sunday. And he said, normally he do just 30, 40, 50 meals and stuff. That weekend we did 300. Okay. Then when we made those meals, we took those meals and we hit the streets. And we started passing those meals out. Simple gesture. Peace, brother. Peace, sister. Would you like to have lunch with me? Simple little thing, little simple snack. Sandwich, fruit, snack, bottle of water. Hit it. Just old school brown bag. You know, no pork, because I don't do no pork in here. You know what I mean? And I'm a member of the Fat Boy crew, so it wasn't no skinny sandwiches like they make them little one piece of meat. No. It's a sandwich, son. You know what I mean? Fancy. Mayonnaise on both sides of the bread. You know what I mean? On both sides of the bread, we got standards here. And I got back that night. Now remember, please understand, when I'm telling you I'm opening up, this is during the recession. You understand? You didn't know, you didn't get the date. I opened up during the recession, so I started a build out, which was about a 200 and something thousand, no, almost $300,000 build out at the beginning of that January. By the time I got all the way around to September, they started talking this crazy stuff, recession. I ain't know, recession, man, I ain't worried about that, baby. I got this, yo, son. So when they said recession hit, I opened up a new business, a restaurant on a corner that was dead for over 15 years.
Wow.
Okay, but it had history. It had history. All right. And I had a crazy concept. I was going to trick people into being awesome. I was going to give them healthy food. I was going to show them these crazy Black artists in town. I was going to put on the Temptations and the OJs and Lil James Brown, some Black music. And that's what we were going to do. You know what I mean? We were going to put another shine on what Black is. You feel me? A new style. It wasn't going to be, you know, the pork chops and the watermelon. It was going to be something different. You feel me? And that's what we did. You know, so I talked to her. I tell you what, after we did that, me and God had a talk, you know, because I was blown away. You know, I've only felt like that one other time when I was in Jamaica on a trip before I moved to Baltimore. And that was like, yo, son, that was like 15, 20 years, 15 years before that. You know what I mean? And I talked to God. I said, you know, if you take care of my family and my cafe, okay, and my business, because I understand real estate business had just dropped out, done, son. Okay, it's a recession. Okay, the bricks was cold. People was running scared. All right, a restaurant is disposable income, so you don't have to eat out. You can cook your chicken home. Okay, and the crazy part was that I made that agreement. I told God, you take care of mine, and I'll take care of your community. So at that point, I gave the restaurant to the community. At that point, it wasn't really about profit anymore. It was just about the people. And I had faith and I believed in him at that point, because I know that he had me. You feel me? And we made it through the recession. Bumps, bruises, some more, we made it through. But every second Sunday, we sat up and we do 200, 300, 400 meals, cosmetics, clothes, whatever the season, you know, deems. And they became our family. You know what I mean? All right. And we weren't feeding the homeless. We were feeding our neighbors without walls. And like that's the name of our program, Our Neighbors Without Walls. Because one of the things that I share with people is that doing that, it really, what it does was that society desensitizes us. So when you're walking down the street and you see somebody and they ask you for some change or something, see, society already told you they're not worthy of anything. Society already told you they're an alcoholic, they're a drug addict, they did wrong. Society ain't tell you what they did to them. Okay? All right? Society didn't tell you that it's so heavy a mental illness out here, that not everybody is as strong as you. Okay? And that's where that agape love comes. Once again, you're going to hear all of how I move. Like I said, we move differently, man. All right? See, I bless them because guess what happens? I'm not going to always be here. And I'm not going to always be around my family and those that I love. But if you put it in the bucket, if you put that love in this cup, guess what happened? God gonna deal it out to those around you. You don't put no love in the cup, guess what he got? He ain't got nothing to work with. You feel me? So I wanted to make sure my toolbox is heavy. I love my kids. I love my family. You feel me? So you know what I mean? Your mom get a flat tire. Yo, it could be some crazy dude, or it could be that right dude. Who do you want?
The right dude.
Or it could be no dude. Who do you want? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it could be something crazy. 18-wheeler go crazy and hit the car. What do you want? You know what I mean? I'm not in control, but I am in control of me. You feel me? So if I control me, that means I can control all the spaces around me, son. I can control everything around me. You know? But so that's what we've done with the Neighbors Without Walls. And I mean, it is what it is. Society has desensitized us from caring. It's shown people to care about that. You don't know, it could be you, it could be your kids, it could be your cousin, it could be your mother, it could be your father. You know what I mean? And you don't know nobody's story. You know what I mean? You don't. It was a brother that was coming out there, man, sharp brother, one of the elders, in 65, 70. Sharp, suit, tie, a gentleman. But he would come out and get something to eat. And guess what? He owned a home, okay? But he said sometimes there are decisions he might got to make. Sometimes he might got to make a decision in paying a water bill that they'll take your house in Baltimore for it. They'll steal your legacy for it, for a cup of water, okay? He said sometimes he had to make a decision about buying his medication. Sometimes he had to make a decision whether or not he had power. So he would come and get a meal. See, so you can't, it ain't always what they say to you. You know what I mean? How they got you believing how we are. You know, that's why it's so important for us right now to change the narrative of who we are and where we're going. We need to identify some stuff and we need to get to our business. And those in our community that do not want to be held accountable, we need to call them out and put them on the side. They don't have the privilege just to sit there anymore. They don't. They don't. And until we get to that mindset that we choose, all right, what the next narrative is for not only just, I'm going to say Black culture and the world culture, okay, all right? See, they're giving us the ball now. They're saying we did you wrong. They're saying you don't have access, okay? They're saying they want to give you access. So what we're going to do at Terrell Off Consult, we're going to show you how to get access. It's a lot of things going on right now, but if you don't really use these opportunities they have for you, okay? If you don't really take right now and get your business structure together, okay? Understand this COVID is going to go on for the next 2 years, okay? There's going to be a lot of funding out there, okay? And I want everybody to get bags and bags of bread. But I don't want you buying Gucci. I don't want you buying Yves Saint Laurent.
Let's go.
You know?
All
right.
Talk to him, King.
Is in your community. All right. And I want you to make solid investments. See, one of the things that we're doing right now is we got a campaign called the Bamboo Project. The Bamboo Project is the project of actually taking businesses, all right, meeting them where they are right now, getting them up with their hot 7 that we talked about earlier, showing them how to actually get their trade lines and their credit lines together, showing them how to actually really maximize on their business. We got awesome support here, all right? You know, what would happen is that business is gonna get an opportunity to have a Zoom meeting with one of their mentors, whether or not it is accounting, whether or not it's marketing, whether or not it's legal, whether or not it's their industry, whether or not it's just somebody in the same business like them, and then they're going to chop it up. Okay. So you're going to have that big brother up on you all the time. Mm-hmm. It's going to like everybody going to have a T-sizzle in a business. Okay. All right. Because understand, you didn't get like you are overnight. And if you think you're going to change it in a day, no. You know, one of the most awesome videos that I like is Les Brown has a video called the bamboo tree. And that's where we got the name of the Bamboo Project from. In the story Les Brown tells, he tells about this crazy guy. This guy says that, you know, he's going to grow this bamboo tree. Mm-hmm. So he comes out every day and he's watering this tree. And then sometimes watering this dirt right there. All right. Got a sign, bamboo tree. All right. He's fertilizing it like clockwork every day. Doing business. Accountable. Hitting it. Fertilize. Water. All right. People started talking. There go that crazy guy again. What are you doing? He watered that ground all the time? Hey, he growing a bamboo tree. Years. 2, 3 years. 4 years. Because a bamboo tree takes 4 to 5 years to really hit. Okay. All right. So 4 years later, come out one day, a little sprig on the ground. A little bit. Just that. Mm-hmm. Turn around. All right. Everybody laughed at him. Everybody didn't believe in him. Everybody forgot about his mission. Okay. All right. That little sprig came up. In about 2 weeks, that little sprig went from this big to it was 60 feet high. So when the guy came back and he asked yourself, did that bamboo tree grow 60 feet in those 2 weeks? Or did that bamboo tree go 60 feet in them 4 years? And we know the answer to 60 feet in them 4 years. And see, that's where we're positioned right now to do for our micro business and our Black community right now. Is that we're going to have to water some of these bamboo trees for a minute. Okay. And we might not see it right now. Okay. But with the bamboo program, within 2 years, your 60 feet is owning the bricks. And that's what we want to do. We want to water these businesses and mentor these businesses, push them until they own the bricks. And see, Baltimore is the perfect place because there's strategies to be had. Okay. You got multiple unit buildings that I always suggest, you know, amateurs buy singles, you know, people with mentors and strategies, they buy multis, you know. So you got a business that can buy a building, a 3-story. They got the commercial on the first floor. And see, this ain't nothing new. This is all the way back from the 40s to 50s and the 60s. We just forgot about it. And see, other communities did this and they flourished. You know, you'll go around Baltimore, you'll hear about this was the Polish community, this was the Jewish community, this was the Italian community. All right. All right. But see, when you say those communities, they use that big C word. You had commerce, you had businesses, you had structure, you had community. When they come to us, they call them hoods. This is the Black hood. This is the Black project. See, they don't give us that community. We don't have that C. Okay, you feel me? So, I mean, that right now is the time that we actually grow. All right. And one of the things is that I think that a lot of people, you know, I was listening to this other sister and she's got a talking about being humble, that at some point in time, you don't have to be humble. Yeah, but then, you know what, I think that at all times you have to be humble. I think that when you get too big, sometimes for yourself, you lose the focus of where you're supposed to be. Those clouds are high. When you keep yourself grounded and humble, because guess what? When you get there, you'll know what to do. You feel me? Like in my office, I say, we're going to the Rolls Royce store. Ain't that right, Miss Tiffany? Right. You already know we're going to the Rolls Royce store. All right? You know what I mean? We don't want no Buick. We don't want no Lexus. We don't need, well, maybe a Tesla, but we don't want no Tesla. We're going to the Rolls Royce store. See, we keep focusing on our community on these crumbs. You know what I mean? Mm. And those are some of the things that generationally we've done so long. You know what I mean? Mr. Brown, shot. Mr. Brown died, had a great business. Mr. Brown never owned a building. Mr. Brown never did his books the right way because they told him to always write your business to being a loser. Like they tell you, write you for the first 5 years, you can write your business to being a loser. Amateur. Who's gonna bet on a loser, son? You betting on a loser? All right. Write your business like your business do. Write your business into greatness. Okay? The cats that you're trying to emulate, guess what? They got bags already. Then you can invest in where you write off everything and you minus everything and you find a loophole here. When you grow it, you want to show them how strong you are. You're gonna pay some skin in the game. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody that pretty and that smart they can avoid it. You got to pay skin in the game. Come on, cut it out. You know what I mean? So the sooner you get to that point, because remember we talked earlier about that 3 to 4 years. So you don't got to realize in 3 to 4 years you should have been paying your taxes, that you should have had some strategies. You feel me? That they lied to you when they say, you know, you got 5 years to create a loser. What bank is going to do you in 5 years? Nobody, man. Matter of fact, if you were losing 5 years, you're dead. Because that means you got to write 5 years strong. That's 10 years. You might as well shut it down and start new. There's some businesses that come to me and my real thing is, yo, we're going to shut this down and start it new. Let's do the part 2. You know what I mean? Big Bubba's Chicken Ranch, part 2. Because it just didn't work no more. You know what I mean? The exposure was too dangerous. The exposure is too expensive to come back. You feel me? You know, it is. It's not a law. It's not a loser. It's a lesson. You feel me? It's not a losing business. It was a lesson. That's the first business I learned off. You know what I mean? I heard some things about Dyson. That Dyson created 5,000 models before they got the first one. Everybody got them in their house now. You know what I mean? $300 for something about big as this coffee cup with a stick on it. You feel me? All right. So don't have any fear about it. You know, guess what? Anybody ever told you they did perfect in business and it was all smoking, all okie-dory? It's all smoke and mirrors. They really didn't do it. Okay. They're still growing. Because until you get to that part, that you get that real body shot, knock that ass down, and you have to get back up in a humble form. Now you're ready for business. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's kind of like, you know, that's kind of like where it's at right now for us as a Black community, is that we have to get these businesses. We have to get them upright. We have to get, you heard what I said, have to, okay? Because it ain't pretty on the other side. We have to get command of our communities. And guess what? Everybody always tells me that, you know what? You got to get the legislative part too. You got to get the political part too. Yeah, you know what? But you know what drives the political part? Don't let them fake you out. Bread. You know, Mayhem Barry was awesome in DC, son. You know what I mean? The conspiracy to take that man out, it is what it is. Whatever he did what he did. But guess what he did at the beginning? He made Black millionaires. He understood the game at the beginning. He understood what got him there at the beginning. Was them checks, them bags. Okay? So when he got there, he called them all in the room. He said, I want my sign everywhere. I done made your contracts. You done got jobs in your community. You're astute. You have legacies now. Now create this one. And guess what? They voted him back again, son. But guess what? His legacy lives on. Okay? Because now you got Black families that say that they have legacies all throughout DC. And guess what? Not even those in DC, but the learned behavior that have come from them that are other places now. You know? All right? Because if you notice that all of those in our community that have really moved the ball forward, they put dirt on, they put stank on them. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't. Whoever thought Bill Cosby locked up in jail right now, that's another story, but we ain't gonna talk about it now.
Ooh, that's a heavy topic you're talking now. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, that's another topic. Ooh, that's another topic.
We're not gonna talk about that. I mean, if you can look at just where we are in our community, how people continually get to a part and they decide to actually branch off and create an environment that is better for us, okay? it's always a hiccup. Why is it always a hiccup, baby? I know they ain't the only one. And then you see other people on the other side not handled the same way, baby. It's just not. But I mean, you got to look at that and you got to remember this. You're not as even as special as them. So if you think that society won't push you aside, you're deeply mistaken. You feel me? You know, you don't got their bread, you don't have their stew, you don't have any of that. So if you think they won't push you aside just as easy as anything else, yeah, they'll push a Terence Dickson aside in a minute. That's why I take this serious every day, all day. You feel me? Because it's mandatory for our community.
Now, I want it's on the community part, and then TC's gonna do a couple of questions also. Now, for the people that is listening right now, what advice can you give them of what can they do for their community to better what can they do to better their community as they're doing their part?
One of the things with this is that, you know, we've been taught not to really create unity and community, all right? And we've been taught that there's competition. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's the big divide. You know, I've been on this corner right now with this restaurant 11 years. There's probably, there were more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Black restaurants here within about 2, 3 blocks radius. If anybody needed wings, I got them. If anybody needed bread, I got them. If anybody needed whatever, I got them. They need fish, I got them. If I need something, I'm going. I'm asking. And that's that community that we have. See, we understand this. Guess what? There's enough out there for everybody, and we're going to get there together. All right? And there's no fun. None being on top by yourself. None. You know what I mean? So the focus that we do in our communities, we have to really learn to work better together. All right? We have to really understand the accountability of our community, that it's bigger than just your business. It's the community itself, it's the elders, and you got to show up. All right? You got to show up. You got to show up in some of these schools if you can. You got to show up in your community if you can. And then you got to call some people out and be accountable. All right? If they don't think that they owe you, prove them wrong. Your council people, all right? Your community people, all right? Yo, they have to. You know, that's what they're there for. You feel me? So the one thing that I would say with the community is unity. And if anybody needs some help with putting together any programs, understand, like I said, we're going to put this on the road. So I suggest you reach out to us sooner than later, okay? There's stuff that I can share with you right now. There's community building I can share with you right now. I got a squad that's so deep and so crazy, unbelievable, okay? We've talked about it before. I got artists, I got nonprofit people, I have attorneys. There's so many people out here that truly love Black people in our community, that we're here. You know, like I said, this is the new Tulsa. This is the new Black Wall Street. This is that metropolis. This is that, you know? Yeah. So, you know, but that's what I would say, more so to reach out to each other. All right. Somebody that's got to be the boss. You got to reach out to the elders. Okay. But also remember, when you reach out to different segments of your community, you're going to treat it like a pizza pie. Everything might not be needed right then, but don't throw it away. Take it all in. Okay. Just like you order pizza, hungry as crazy. When you get there, you're going to smash the whole thing. No, you hit about 4 slices, you're done. What do? Do you throw it out? Nah, you put it in the refrigerator. You know what I mean? That 2:30 in the morning walk, got a slice. Get up running late, got to get out the house. 8:30, got a slice. Get home at night, don't want to really cook nothing, got a slice. Same thing with knowledge, okay? Grab what you can grab now, because you don't never know when that slice is gonna come back. You know what I mean? I remember after I bought my first 3 houses by accident at one time. And I remember I went to the house and Went to the
Terrence.
house.
Hold on, Terrence. Hold on. I want to understand if we heard you properly. You said by accident?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not tripping. All right.
That's,
Come
come on.
So I go. All right. So I called my father. I'm gonna tell you about the three houses. I'm gonna tell you finish what I was saying right there.
Yeah.
And my father raised me, like I said, is that, when I was growing up, my father worked at Pitney Bowes and Screw Machine. All right. And he went to school in the daytime. And then he did painting and carpentry on the weekend with my uncles and stuff for that day. She's got like 6, 7 brothers. My grandfather, like I said, we come from the South. We did the Exodus after the Orangeburg riot, Orangeburg massacre in Orangeburg, South Carolina. And he took all of his son because they wasn't quiet. You know what I mean? My family's never been quiet. They're the ones with the shotguns in the car, all right, with the pistols on the dash. That was my family back at that time because that was that era, okay? But the crazy part, I called my father because he used to get me up every morning, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Man, I'm young, 11, 12, give me some tea, piece of raisin toast, say, come on, boy, we're going to work. And I used to hate him for that. I never got to watch cartoons or nothing. But I tell you what, when I roll up on that house, and that was one of them slices of pizza that I thought I would never eat, that I would never need. And I started putting my hands on that house and he wasn't around. And I started shouting out orders and he wasn't around. And stuff started coming together. And after about the first week, at the end of that Friday, when I rocked out that payroll for everybody and I stood back, I got all misty. I called my father and I thanked him. You know what I mean? I wasn't really crying. I wasn't really crying. And I thank my father because all of what he sold into me, that pizza came, you know what I mean? Them slices came back out. You know what I mean? So that was kind of crazy. That was it. But I bought my first 3 houses by accident. A friend of mine, D, had hit me up and he said, listen, man, I'm going to this auction. Auction? Yeah, I'm gonna go buy me a house. I'll buy you a house. I had just gotten a little lawsuit settlement money, couple stacks, a little bit. And I didn't have no bread on me. So we went up to it. I wasn't planning on buying those houses. I don't know nothing. And so the dude, if I could find this dude, man, if I could find, it was a guy checking everybody in. So you had to have like $1,000 or whatever, $1,500. So just to get in. So my man D got his bread and said, yo, here go mine. He gave it to him, counted it out, said, boom. Dude said, listen, you going in? I said, yeah. He said, you bid? I said, I didn't bring no money. He says, yes, you did. He said, didn't you? He said, isn't your friend holding your money? I'm like, no. I said, no, that's his money. He said, isn't your friend holding? I said, yeah. And took the bread, went inside. My man didn't buy a house that day. I bought 2 single families and a 4-unit by accident. I didn't know where I was going to get the financing. I didn't know the next part. I didn't even know the condition because they just threw them on the screen. And I came to Baltimore and I fell in love with the bricks. So I already knew what I was doing. I already knew I was going to get into the house game here. It wasn't a question. And that's how it all started. You know what I mean? That's that jump. That's that entrepreneur spirit. That's that $1,500, couple bag credit cards and getting it in. You feel me? And that's what I committed. That's how I started off with my real estate game. And it's got me here now. Got me here now.
TC, before we get into generational, I'm getting a lot of questions about generational wealth. And TC, please ask your questions before we get into that, please.
Okay, so you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You think it's important for our community to get into the stock market?
You know what? Just like anything else, there's I'm told there's seven different, you know what I mean? You need 7 different layers of 7 things you need to be doing to be a millionaire. You know, I know throughout my journey right now, you know, I've done everything, man. You know what I mean? Definitely a true Jamaican. 8, 9, 10 jobs. You know what I mean? Like I tell them, I don't turn on nothing but my collar, you know? And Yeah, stock market is good to get into. One of the things that I focus in, we need stuff that is tangible. We need to not get with the smoke and the mirrors. You know what I mean? Stocks up and down, make some bread, but you need to figure out what do you do with it. And I think that what everybody needs to do is they need to own the bricks. Understand God ain't making no more dirt. Okay? He ain't making no more dirt. And I look at the value of a man or a value of a person is they own something here. You got to own something. You got to leave something here. I was going to tell you about Mr. Brown that didn't run the business right, didn't do the books right, bought all the outfits, got a new Cadillac every year. Then when he died, the only thing he left was a broken down Cadillac and a closet full of leisure suits. Okay. And he left debt in his family. We can't do that. We can't. The legacy has to start now, man. And guess what? It's not going to be easy. It's going to be painful. Okay. But what'll happen is this. I understand this. Guess what? I'm not going to be able to see all the shine. But I know that I'm damn sure I'm going to leave me some shine. Okay. That my kids are going to be forward. Our community is going to be forward. That the world's going to be forward. Because understand, we don't just affect our community and our kids. You know, Black people do more than that. We affect the world. You feel me? Think about it. Think about some of these cats that have really affected and done the world. Look at Jay. Look at Jay-Z. Come on. You know what I mean? Crazy. And I go all the way back to rap. I go back to the Collin brothers. All right. I go all the way back to DJ Red Alert. I go back to the parties in the basement in Brooklyn, son. Huh? I go back. So you know what I mean? To see how people have just taken something that was just, you know, that era, that energy, that time, and elevate to now. You know what I mean? That's what we all have the ability to do. Okay. And it all don't have to be done in the studios, and it all don't have to be done on the courts and the football fields. You feel me? You got, like I said, it's layers. So that stock market, yeah. Real estate, yeah. I think real estate is the heaviest thing that we need to own. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's mandatory. Other than that, you're sharecropping. Okay? All right? Other than that, you're sharecropping. I'm going to always lay back to that. Okay? But definitely the stock market. Okay. And the stock market is a place where you can actually, when I was in New York, my brother Vinny showed me a little bit about the stock market. I racked it up for a good while. All right? But what happens when you get the bread? What do? You got to still keep working for it. And it's also at risk. Any point in time, it could drop out any day. You feel me? But it's certain things that with the real estate, and that's my big thing for us, with the real estate, I'm solid. Okay? I rent my units out. I get my bread. You know, during COVID, I was able to actually go to all of my businesses. And I told them, yo, one, I got you. Told them we got each other. I told them, listen, the loaf is going to get smaller. Everybody's going to get a slice. Just make sure I get a slice. Okay? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? My employees, I had 24. I was able to, only had to furlough 4. Cats that was doing 40 to 60 hours, we're now going to get 10 and 15 hours. But I told them I got them. I said, the loaf is going to get smaller. Everybody's going to get a slice. You know? And that's, see my son. That's, you know, and that's true to today, you know, in our community, you know. Sometimes we had meat on the table. Sometimes we had beans and rice. But everybody ate something. And I think that's where we're at right now, of just really teaching people to feed themselves and build for ourselves. So if you do it through the stock market, real estate, whatever, get them bags. But when you get them bags, make sure you think a minute. Don't do what we've been doing for so long, and that's giving it right back. Okay? Don't do it. Don't give it right back. All right? If you need the latest and the hottest, guess what? Look for the latest and the hottest in black. You know? That's how I look at it. I don't know.
Now, now touching on generational wealth, right? So, talked about building wealth, real estate, and building capital. And I want to touch on something for like information, like you said, is key, and education is a never-ending process. So information, now that the age of information is very like, we can just go to Google and get this information going. In this world now, we have these things as I'm like, and I'm gonna talk about me personally, and for me, TC also, is that when we was in school, we weren't taught these things as real estate, credit, and we wasn't taught to have multiple streams of income, 7 to 24 revenues of income. We wasn't taught these things in school. We was taught of go to school, get good grades. When you get that degree, you get that internship, and then after you are building another person's legacy. We wasn't taught that. We wasn't taught in school for that. So please talk about how like the ownership of like when you talk about property, right? Now we talk about and we're talking about gentrification, right? Owning
Economic
property.
term. It's not a color.
There we go. Yes.
It's about the bread.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the bread. You know what? One of the things in reference to us really building our community and throughout, it's all economics. One of the things is that, we drive a whole lot. One of the things that I share is that with businesses is that when you're somewhere, guess what? You bring in energy. Mm-hmm. As Black people, we bring in energy. Okay. And a lot of times you'll have us displaced in reference to that. All right. Because and the energy is still there. For example, Harlem, the hot spot, dining, show life, live life, good times, right? When they gentrified Harlem, guess what happened? Guess what it's known as? Still the live life, the dining, the good life, the music. See, they took that energy. You know what I mean? They took that energy, and that's what we find a lot of times when they come in our communities, that we have great things right there, but we just didn't have that vision. They've stunted your vision. They've stopped your vision. They didn't teach you to be an awesome business person. They didn't teach you to be a leader of your community. They didn't teach you to be accountable. Okay. What they taught you was that go to school, get a degree, get a good job, get a pension, and that was it. But what happened as time has changed, that might have been a good philosophy for, 100 years ago, 100 years ago. But for right now, it's for so long, it's definitely not been us. It's been a way that society's been able to actually really, stunt us from growth of Black people, is because we don't want to own, we want it right now. When you look at the people they put in front of you, it was like, and they tell their story like this. They're not going to tell you the hard story. They tell the story. They was playing music in a warehouse one day, and then a week later, they're over in Europe doing $100,000 tours. You feel me? They didn't tell you about the grind. They didn't tell you about the commitment. They didn't tell you about the music. They didn't tell you about the bad times. They didn't tell you about guess what? They're probably doing $100,000 tours over there. But guess what? After they get their cut, they got $12 because they didn't know about business. They didn't know about the structure. They didn't know about the contract. You feel me? But the illusion. So how many artists and rappers and everything else and professional people that after they've been getting them bags for years, they go into these big legal cases where they're suing somebody that's been ripping them up all the time. You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me? So they didn't teach you that. Even when you excel to that part, me and Robert the Show, we had this conversation a long time ago, and he brought up, and this is a man that actually is one of the head lawyers over at Morgan. All right. He shared with me that most HBCs, that if we think about it, now, don't nobody get mad now. Don't nobody get mad with this conversation. We're getting ready to ride. All right. Most HBCs, when they were formulated, they had white deans. They have leadership.
That's heavy.
So what they did was they didn't teach you how to be black. They taught you how white people thought black should be.
Heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's
If you,
heavy.
if you want to look at some of the colleges, can we just compare a few?
Yeah.
And this
Come
came
on.
from one of the smartest man that I know. All right, smartest man. I mean, you got mayors and governors and
Mhm.
everybody from all over. This is who they get their counsel from, and that hit me when he had that conversation with, even throwing some body shots on me, man. When I have conversations like him now, sometimes I gotta come like this right here because I might not be ready. You know what I mean? And he said that's translated into really our HBCs. Think about this, man. Think about this. The amount of black people that go through HBCs that are professionals, they got bread. Why in the hell is our community still where it's at, man? Huh? Can I say that to
Resources.
you like that? Can I say that like that? Can I say that I hasn't a class in since 2020 say, you know what? Everybody in this class, we're gonna go right here to this neighborhood where nobody wanna be, and we're gonna all buy a house on this block. Why haven't it? Why haven't your black churches say that, you know what? We pass that plate around every Sunday. But guess what we're gonna have on Tuesdays? All right. We're going to have home buying seminars every Tuesday. We're going to have financial literacies going on. We're going to teach people and empower people that what's missing. In other communities, such as Jewish communities, Italian communities, Korean, Greek, they got 2 schools, babe. See, they allow America to teach them. But then what they do is they go into their own personal school in their community, and then they straighten that shit out. Okay. We got to get to that again. All right. We got to get to that Sunday night meeting. Okay. All right. Where folks come together and have a conversation, and it's just on black. And it's okay. Watch this. Black, 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 black. Ceiling ain't fall down. Ain't nobody ran in here. Ain't nothing. I'm still standing. Okay. A lot of times people are scared to say that word, baby. What's wrong? So I look at that's kind of like, a challenge that we have to really correct right now. And we got a lot of smart people out here right now. We just got to get them to be committed and accountable, and then understand that somebody else ice ain't colder and their water ain't wetter. And if it is, we need to make us better. Ain't that it? Ain't that it? I can't hate on you because where you at. I can't. Why would I? That's amateur. That's amateur again. That's amateur. Okay. All right. Like I said, we dealing at TLC Terrell Consultant. I'm creating sharks. I'm creating hunters. It is a hostile takeover. If you're not ready, you better get ready. You feel me? Because it don't always come easy. It's not gonna come easy. And you can put all the big words you want on paper. You can do it all, man. It's gonna be about that grind and that time. All right.
Ooh,
All right. It's gonna be about that grind and that time. So y'all said 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes yet.
It's been, it's been.
The Lord of the Rings right now.
Right. Let's go. So, Terrence, we do have a couple more questions, and then we're gonna have and then we're gonna one more question. Okay, so one more question for TC, and then I have 3 more questions, and then we're gonna get your social media, and then your final thoughts. So TC, your last question.
So Terrence, one of the biggest things I want to know, especially for people who want to build a business, Black people especially, what are the first few steps we need to take to get to that great level that you are at?
TerrellOffConsulting.com. All right. 888 TLC Biz 7. 888 TLC Biz 7. That's how you get it. That's how you get it.
All
He's a
right.
mentor, y'all. He's a
Yeah,
mentor.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Oh, you dropped the whole mic just now.
Huh?
You dropped the whole mic.
All right. So, at what age should children start learning about business?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yo,
That's a good one.
as they read, counting money, the value of it, the value of family, the value of community. You see, all those are essence of business. You know what I mean? Even before you get to the part and you're doing a profit and loss statement or a business strategy or a plan, you have to get to that part. You know, one of the key things that we're doing right now is we're doing the certification, which is unbelievable. We're doing the technical assistant for Baltimore Community Lending. All right. So what that is part of is teaching you really what is business structure. You know what I mean? What you need to do. And see, that's just priming the pump. I ain't doing nothing but wetting the beat. And guess what? I got the certification for free. You heard me? For free. Okay. Sign on. All right. We'll put you in the right direction. But I think that it starts right at the beginning. Because guess what? When you're building a business, you need to show in your kids. You know what I mean? One of the key things that you know, happened a couple of times. I wish it happened more. Was that when I was on those job sites and doing that construction, all right, and doing those rehabs, I did historic restorations, man. I was doing, you know, like I said, we made a lot. We made millionaires in this town. Okay, we made millionaires in this town, and the crazy part was that I wish my kids had a chance to see me more.
Okay.
I wish my kids had a chance to see me more. So every time I can grab them now, I mean, they're all in my business now, man. They do everything. The books, the thing, you know what I mean? I almost can't do nothing around here sometimes. You know what I mean? But I wish that at the beginning that they actually saw, you know, me putting them tools in the truck, you know, they had their little tools home and stuff of that nature, you know. And please understand, they did see me. They did come out. You know, their mom brought them out to the job, have a little sandwich and stuff of that nature, bring pizza by, whatever. You know what I mean? But I think that's one of the key things. You start them off because remember, it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's part of you're at that part. Remember, what is a business? Nothing more than a tool to create your legacy. So the business is really important, but the legacy is the goal of it all. You know what I mean? That's the purpose of a business. You know what I mean? Because if you say a business for you to eat, shit, get a job. Less headaches. You feel me? But if you're going to go through it, all right, yo, it's got to be for the legacy.
Let's go. All right. Two more questions and then social media and then your final thoughts. Do you think working on a business I'm sorry. Do you think working on a business affects your education? Is it possible to someone to succeed in school and work in the business at the same time? Should they do both?
Of course. You know, one of the things that I share with my youth, I had an awesome opportunity to speak with some youth from Baltimore City School. All right. I was on the transition committee for the mayor's office and for workforce development and community. And I had a chance to meet a brother there. He did his presentation and we had a real conversation in reference to workforce development. One of the challenges that I have is really our numbers right now. And I want to put them out there because I need people to look up this stuff. All right. Even in your community, you got some. One of the key things is we looked at a number we heard that came from his office was that the average high school graduate in Baltimore City, okay, that after 2 years in the workforce, you hear me, son, 2 years, 24 months, they're only making $17,700 a year. Okay, that's the problem.
Yeah,
you feel me? That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say about our youth and stuff, it's now. When you say about, you know what I mean? If it's important that they start a business while they're in school, yeah. You know what I mean? And it's not got to be that heavy. You know, one of the things, the first thing I tell people when I'm going to mentor you, guess what I want you to get? I need you to spend $2. I need you to go get a composition notebook because I need you to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I picked that up from the Carb Business on 11th Avenue. We had a journal, babe, every day. Jerry, Pat, Juan Rodriguez. All right. We had to do 10 calls every day. All right. In the morning, 10 fresh ones, and then whatever you didn't finish. Okay. But you wrote it down. You feel me? You write it down. So those people that are in school right now, all right. I went to Fashion Institute in New York. I was living in Connecticut, went to Fashion Institute in New York when I was in the 10th grade. I was taking classes at night and classes in the summertime.
Okay.
My senior year of high school, before I even had an opportunity to go full-time at FIT, I started that first quarter. All right. When I graduated, I got drafted to, I got hired by Dress Barn. They drafted me. I should have got a signing bonus, but I didn't know nothing about it back then. But I was like 20 years old, and I was in 19, 20 years old, and I was designing silk blouse, swimsuits, and denim for a company that went from 13 stores to 92 stores nationwide. All right. And they found me in the lunchroom because I was working in the warehouse and I had my patterns out and they came to get me. So what I share with that story because this is a multi-million dollar company. This is back in the rag game when it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't for dudes, you know? And, you know, that was a challenge because that was glass ceiling. I've been a glass ceiling breaker all my life. You feel me? And that was crazy. So start your business now. And guess what happens when you start your business when you're in school now? Mm-hmm. Now school needs more. Now that lesson plan on the board needs more. Now that lesson that you read at night, it needs more. Because you need to figure out how is it what you're learning right now in school, how does that meet with what I'm going to do in business? Okay? All right? If you wait till you graduate from school in order to launch your business, you're doing it wrong. The day one when you decide you want to have a business, guess what? Trap's open. Get that composition book, now you got a business. Figure out your name, what do you want to do, find your industry mentor, figure out whether or not what kind of LLC and structure you're going to have, figure out the bank you're going to, that, you know, because you're going to do your homework. Guess what? The bank might be right there. Bank of America might be right there. But when you actually look at what they offer, the service and conditions, whether or not they have relationships with small business, and they don't, and then you got your neighborhood community bank over here, and they're known for small business, where you going? Mm-hmm. You might got to go both places so you didn't pay attention. Because you might need both of those relationships. You feel me? You might need the small business to hit you on that side, and then you might need the big bank to show you what you're aspiring to. You feel me? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that I might got about 6 bank accounts. I think about 6. And they're all for different reasons. You feel me? They're all for different things. See, these are the strategies that I'm going to teach you. These are the things that are going to change the narrative of how you get it in. You feel me? Like I said, other people can talk about what they read and what they Googled. All right? I'm talking about what I live, son.
I say never gets tiring.
Oh, never gets tiring. Okay. Yeah. Last question, and then how can people connect you and your final thoughts? So the last question is, how much money do you think is needed for an entrepreneur to execute his or her business plan?
I told you, $2.
Come on.
If you can't do it on paper, you can't do it.
Come on, somebody.
Told you $2. When you sit down in your book, and that book is with you all day, and a book, because guess what? These are great, but you put them in your pocket.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I don't hit notes and pull up notes, guess what I don't see? And I don't got, if I hit notes for the day, I might not see notes for tomorrow. But guess what happens when I have that book and I go page by page? See, I ain't writing all the way to the bottom neither. I might only write one. I might be right here. It might just say, all right, delivery. It might say just desserts.
Mhm.
Let's go.
It might say certification, and it's still fill in the blanks. You feel what I'm saying? These are the strategies that they're not going to teach you. These are the strategies that we're going to actually roll this clock back. You
Okay.
feel me?
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. Because guess what? When that book get like that and you get the doodling and you put your stickers on it and you figuring out your name and you brainstorming. Because guess what? Let me tell you what. I guarantee you, you're not going to get it right on the first try. So let's get through it. Let's already get through it. Put your knee pads on, your elbow pads on, all that stuff you want to put on that you're fearful for falling and not making it. Let's get it. Come on. All right? Because see, as soon as we fall down, guess what happened? Now we ready. All right? And now it becomes personal. See, you got to do that. I was looking at E.T. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher.
That's my guy. Yes.
I mean, come on, baby. I got a whole bunch of them. I've been vibing with a whole lot of them. Matter of fact, he's going to be in Baltimore, doing not in Baltimore. He's going to be doing Zoom with something with NAACP. What is it? No, Urban League.
Urban League, okay.
Definitely going to show up. You know what I mean? But one of the key things he says is that, you know what? It's about putting your feet on the floor. Feel me? Because normally when you put your feet on the floor, if you can put your feet on the floor, if you condition yourself and you said this is what you want, and you could put your feet on the floor in the morning, you could put your shoes on, guess what? The rest, your body's going to take care of the rest. Your mind's going to take care of the rest. You just need that spirit to put your feet on the floor in the first part of the morning and put your shoes on. See me? See, once you hit that, now it's go. Like you said, what you say? Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? So that's it. And that's that hardest part in the time. Because you want to know what? Sometimes it's not that your shoes are too far away from the bed. Sometimes it might not be that you can only find the right one. You don't know where the left one at. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just, that fear. You know what I mean? And if anybody's saying an entrepreneur, they ain't got no fear, they ain't really doing what they need to do. Because you should always be pushing into the fear level. You should always be on the edge where you feel as though you might not make it. Okay? You should always be pushing. If you rolling through it slow, guess what? You ain't doing it right. You really ain't. You feel me? If you went through last quarter and you ain't had no bruises and no bumps, guess what? Call TLC. All right, Biz 7 888 TLC Biz 7. You feel me? That's what you got to do, because you got to come up with a different strategy. You got to come up with a different plan. All right. And see, I don't like that word business plan. I like business strategies. I like action items. You feel me?
Yeah.
I like action items. Don't just lay it out. Nah, tell me some shit I'm gonna do. Tell me the parts I got to do, because I can't sit still long. You know what I mean? Tell me what I got to do, and you shouldn't be sitting still long. You know what I mean? A lot of times, and guess what? I grew into this. All right. A lot of times there are deals that I didn't get because I sat too long, because I overthunk it. You know what I mean? How you thinking about something, because you're already in code red. You're 15 feet from shore, you're drowning. You got a 10-foot rope thrown to you. You feel what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that every stroke, every pull is righteous. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just got to go. Sometimes you just got to pull. Sometimes you just got to swing. Sometimes you just got to jump. You feel me? So that's kind of like, you know what I mean? Right now, where we at?
Okay.
Go ahead, hit me with another question, man. Come on now.
Yes. How can people
rapid fire? Stop rapid fire.
Let's go. I mean, how can people I'm telling you, this is gems drop, y'all. Gems drop, mic drop. That I'm telling you.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go, y'all. Come on. We added value to people's life, just like what he said. He said it's all about the people. It's about the community. That's what he said.
He's
Come
giving
on.
back right now.
Let's go. How can people connect with you, Terrence? How?
I tell you what, we're definitely building this plane while we're flying right now. All right. But guess what? We're leveling out, baby. We're leveling out. The new chairs coming in, everything coming in. So you're going to reach out to us first at Terraloft Consulting.
Yeah.
Okay. When you pull up the website, I need you to do a business analysis. All right. It's free. Put in your basic information, even if you don't have a business. What's going to happen is this: when you go through this and you answer these questions, about 10 or 11, 12 questions, but what's going to happen is going to start to actually plant a seed in your mind in reference to what you need. Okay. Because that's what we're asking. You know, I had a young lady that's been a beautician for over 30 years, have done her taxes faithfully. All right. Done everything, had an accountant. Okay. But what happened was that when this all came and she went to apply, guess what she didn't have? An LLC. Guess how she was doing her taxes? Just her normal taxes and her accountant. Guess who fault it is? Need to take her lawyer, her accountant out and hang him. Because that's where our problem is coming, is that you have professional people that are not handling us properly. They're not giving us the right things. They're not giving us the right strategies. They're just in it for the profit. They're not in it for the people. Okay. So that's the key. So when you reach out to us, we're going to set you up right. It's the most important. This is the most important website you're going to get on. It's the most important phone call you're going to make if you're going to get into business, and especially if you're a Black business. Okay. There's a lot of cats out there you can talk to. There's a lot of information out there. But if you want to be right, if you want to go with somebody that knows, okay, and definitely has an agape love in mind, guess what? We do got fees later on. I got some free stuff. I'm going to wet your beak. But if you think that anybody's going to give you a free outright all the way, it's not worth your time. Okay? If you don't pay for some of your knowledge, if you don't sow back into the system, then you miss the whole conversation of being on here for the last 20 minutes. You feel me? All right. You know, it costs to be the boss. Okay? And if you're going to get there, you're going to have to pay your dues now. Okay. And that's that cycle. See, they've poisoned us in our mind that we got to take the shortcut. We got to beat it. We got to get this way. No, sometimes straight up and down is all you need. Feel me? You know what I mean? You make it 10 million and you got to give up 30% on tax. Are you really mad? Huh? If you had to give up 50% for tax, are you really mad? Because you got 5 that you ain't had before. So where you at? You feel me? The same thing. You know, your taxes don't begin at the end of the year in December. Guess when your tax strategies begin with TLC? January. See, I believe in you. I got you. So we're going to sit down. We're going to figure out your business. We're going to figure out how much money you're going to make this year. And then we're going to figure out what is going to be the taxes you're going to owe. And then we're going to start squirreling them away. How you eat an elephant? One small bite at a time. So that $25 out of a week that you put in that account, in that rainy day fund, is for your taxes. Yo, son, at the end of the year, when it's time for you to pay, what are you able to do? Boom. Now, guess what happens? You don't miss that $25 anymore because you've already mentally taken it out. After about the 4th or the 5th week, you don't miss it no more. Okay? It's a strategy for saving bread that way too. You know? Every night you come home, put $20 in a jar. Put 10. All right. After the first month, second month, put 15. Watch what happens. You're going to figure out that you really wasn't missing that money. You're going to figure out you was wasting that money. Okay? You feel me? I mean, these are the things. And one of the key things that I share with all business owners, man, especially entrepreneurs, you have to put yourself in the mindset. A lot of times we harvest way too soon. Okay? We harvest way, way too soon. Flip 2 houses. Yo, what you doing with the Lexus, son? Why you got 24s on it? For what? You know, you harvest too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Set yourself up. If you can sacrifice for 2-3 years, like nobody else around you is willing to, guess what you can do? you can possibly live the rest of your life like nobody else around you can. You feel me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how bad you want it? A lot of times we don't get this until we're old. I ain't old, I'm still young, you know what I mean? Kind of like that. But you know what I mean? A lot of times, you know. So imagine you're 20, 25, all y'all out there millennials right now, you're listening to me, you know, you say, forget about the ragging for a minute. Let me get this grind in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go buy me 5 pair of fatigues. Okay. Let me go get me them Crocs. Let me get to work. Okay. I'll get it all later. Let me get to work. All right. Good.
Ooh.
Let's go. Ooh,
All right.
yo,
And you said I can about social media.
absolutely.
All right. All right. On Instagram. That's Instagram. We got IG? Yeah, we got IG.
Everything is
At Terra Loft Consultant. Everything.
Everything.
IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, and also I tell you what we're doing out here. We're looking for interns. I got a couple of spots for somebody who's willing to put in some work. You get to actually be right up on it here. All right. I said, we're building this new ecosystem and it's going to come out hard. It's a certification system. It's technical assistant. Most of your grants, your loans are going to be asking for this information. And we're leading. Like I said, we're leading. Okay. Reach out. Send me some information over at info@terraloftconsulting.com. Check out the website. You can call in. All right. 888 TLC Biz 7. All right. And we're looking to be here for you, man. Definitely looking to be here for you. I'm gonna work it out with this camera. I've been playing with this camera for it to do right, looking all crazy and sideways and stuff like that.
You're good.
You know what I mean?
You're good.
Nah. Yo,
Thank you.
that was full value, full ball. Yo, that was applause.
Thank you for the whole diamond shaft you gave us, the whole cave of diamonds.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Bless. Thank you.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
like we needed to hear this information. We all needed to hear this.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right. You know, maybe you guys invite me back when I get this last piece set up here with the certification. Definitely want to get that pushed out. One of the key things that's going to happen right now is that all loans and stuff with this new ecosystem is going to be actually created not off of credit anymore. It's going to be on the value of your business and where it really commits with the community itself. Now, there's so much money on the street. What we have to do is we have to position our business in our community to harvest it. And how are you going to do that? By them having their business structure together, by them being certified, all right, they have a learned knowledge of business, and by them having some real strategies. And what we're also doing is that we're actually going after the big fish. We're not dealing with just the crumbs, son. What we're going to do is we're going to be putting multiple businesses and communities together and going for all of it. All right. Too many times people keep coming to our community and harvesting and they take it elsewhere. You know, one of the biggest things that I hate about when I look around right now, I see a lot of redevelopment in Baltimore. And what I look for is the trucks, the plates on the trucks that are doing the work. You feel me? The major companies, the major contracts. And when they don't say Maryland or Baltimore, when they say Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Kentucky, whatever, and it's not us here, it's a problem because you got people here that aren't employed, all right? You got communities that need to develop. And if you ain't got no money in your house, why are you gonna take yours and give it to somebody else? Why not you feeding your family? Why are we not? So I mean, these are some of the learning behaviors that we're gonna force into fruition right now. What's going on? It ain't even no conversation no more. We're walking into it like Bernie Mac. We slapping them at the beginning. Right, just so they know who we are.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yo, let's go.
So definitely, I like to be able to you guys invite me back. If it's
Not a problem.
Please steer some people to us. I need you to steer them to us. And I definitely need some hands. I need some soldiers. I need some of these interns out here, some cats that's quick with the computers, that have the ability and reference to helping me get out there. I just need a little bit of that support there.
Okay.
Let's go.
And I really
We
don't do this.
definitely.
Guess what?
Okay.
I want to share this knowledge because guess what? It's a quicker way to get it. It's like straight to the vein. It's like having Viagra on a drip. It's gonna be right, you know.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that's what it do. All right. Well,
Come on.
blessed.
We
Thank you for
definitely
having me
got you.
on. I'm gonna go ahead and do my little meeting now and get myself together.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, bless.
Thank you,
All right.
King.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Awesome.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night.
All right, and I can sign off now.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, then. All right, I didn't want to mess up. Like, damn, man, he cut off in the middle of the show. Appreciate you guys. Give that.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, let's come on. Come on, somebody. Come on. Come on. Listen, if y'all hear what he said, listen. Tara Lofton. Matter of fact, after we done with this show, I'm definitely the website and I'm sharing this with my friends.
Yeah.
I'm sharing it.
Yeah. All the media.
I'm sharing it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
People that needs this information. I'm sending that information. Definitely.
Because his craft is going to help us lead ourselves to a greater future for our community.
Facts.
Yeah, like he put some gems down. I learned something. I hope everybody else learns something as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. DC Incentives episode 18. Yo.
Here we go, Diamond. You want to plug wearing that shirt? That shirt looking so good on you right now.
Oh, my words will give you something to remember. So yeah, you can find it on www.diamondcashincentives.com and just go to the shop page. It's on there. Get you a shirt, and get you a shirt. You need some motivation. Get you something to wear that has a meaning to it. Don't just get you something to be like, oh, whatever. Nah. Get you wear something that has a meaning to it, that adds value to your life. It gives you the motivation that you need in the everyday life.
Wear something that you want to become.
Facts. Wear something that you want to become. My words will give you something to remember. I refuse to turn my vision to ashes. What TC is wearing. Come on, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yes,
That's it. Yo, we about to be over it. Yo, actually, we over and out. TC, any last things before we close out?
Guys, I just hope you guys have a blessed week and check out Terrence's website. And yeah, just check it out.
There you go. There you have it, y'all.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Good night, y'all.